bit of a ill feeling creeping into this game, Graham.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's put South 1 point in front. 8 goals 11, 8 goals 10. And we're at the 20-minute mark. There's a kick in. That's safely marked by Trevor Johncock. Johncock takes off, puts it out to Little. Little traps it very well. Has a look now, puts the ball up. Looks up there for Dudley, but over the back once again it's Coffey. He's starting to come to the fore, Doug. Nice left foot kick looking for the centre half forward up there, and a great mark. Terrific mark, great kick.
He had two options then. Scott was on a fast lead and Michael Torrens was right in front, but Michael Torrens trapped that ball one hand and brought it down. Now he's certainly within kicking distance, lining them up, about a 45-degree angle, and Scott is heading down there with Des Kenny. There's plenty of marking strength down there. He should nearly kick this lad. Lines up, it's looking straight off the boot. It's a good-looking kick. It's right through the middle. Well played, Darren Coffey and Slater from this back line. They've come through.
That was a great kick, straight through the middle.
Now, do you mind if we have a bit of a look through some of these?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
We can leave that going in case something sort of catches your eye.
We can look at all this.
If you don't mind having a bit of a look through.
I'd like to get a copy.
I'll get you one.
Yeah.
Davies onto him, onto Kim Clark, handball to Sinclair. Sinclair looking to the front spot for Barrett. Montgomery nearly had it. Handball by Smart's got the ball now. Hooks on the left boot, and that's through for a goal. A little bit of confusion in that forward area, and that's the first goal to South.
Coffey on his own, calls for the ball. There's plenty of players out there on the wing to kick it to. High up to Engelhart. Engelhart marks. Oh, beautiful mark. Terrific. You can see that on the replay. Strike me pink. I was going to mention about how the club got started back in the 40s, looking at that forward up there, and I can remember Freddie Ems. I knew Freddie Ems a lot, and Alan Honey and Merv Knight and Eric Patterson and their wives really got the club sort of going from the start. The foundation members that have,
We have to.
and their families are still involved, and the Bryants and the Kings that were involved in the club that put a lot of time and effort into getting us initially started.
A lot of players around the ball. One player stands out, he gets it.
Well done, Levi McDonald.
Schillers again.
Sheila Beers needs to be everywhere. Good kick into the pocket.
That is a nice kick.
Caden Bryant.
So they're trying Ollie Selling at centre half back. He's been a forward player for most of the time. Well, you would have played forward in the 17s today, wouldn't you?
Yep. Full forward and centre half forward, yep. Yeah, Caden Bryant's a good player. I've played with him. Good kick.
Again, straight through.
The birth of the club was, with these guys in the old tin shed down at Centenary Oval.
Tags Clark, Miller again. Kicks quickly forward over the head of Montgomery, picked up by Power, and he goes for the safety of the boundary line, and it is just kept in play by House on that half-back flank. He switches play to the centre of the ground and finds Pullen all on his own. He will just chip over the head and find Smart on the half-forward flank.
And from the days of having ladies club having street stalls to raise money, where they have a stall in front of the Civic Theatre and people will contribute cakes and goodies and raise £10 probably.
Couple of legends there.
Tell me about them.
The Glass Boys are one of the first couple I met.
Because they've been around forever.
They have. They're just so in tune to getting anyone, that comes into the town feeling happy. Mm-hmm. They were great with all of us. They used to work on the State Bank a bit.
He heads towards the centre, back to Greg Peel, poor handball. Mark Duncan steadies on his left foot, 20 metres out, straight through the centre, doesn't miss from there. Wonderful.
Back in those days, if you worked in the Bank SA, you played footy for Lincoln South. And anyone that tried to do the difference part of it, and there was one bloke, but I won't mention his name, he ended up at South. Good days.
Yep, which is perfect. There we go.
Rowe goes long looking for Duncan at centre wing, and Duncan's juggled and taken this mark. Gets the break, away he goes on his wrong leg, but does it well. Clark gets possession beautifully on this occasion, streaks away from the opposition, shoots for goal but is offline. No, it's a goal to Clark.
Yeah, they issued the benches. 100,
really? Yep.
100 quid.
Yep.
We all put in 100 quid. And I don't think anybody took them out again. When they matured, it was for 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
That was to build that trainer's room at the back with Peter Rush.
Yeah, it would have been when this was up. Like, that was after all this stuff. Yeah.
And I think we were offered 4 or 5% on our money back in those days, but we invested £100, $100, might have been $100, was it? But I don't think any of us took it back. We just left it there, and that was to build the change rooms, because this was basically a shed. When it first started, 60 by 40 shed.
An asbestos shed?
Probably had asbestos in it, but it was like a cyclone shed, iron walls and iron outside and masonite and a jarrah floor. There was no there might have been a kitchen and a bar, and that was about it. Yep. And that was the beginning of where it started. And the bar was, I can remember as a kid, the bar was only a little room. Long neck beer bottles, half a 44 with some ice in it, and Freddie M's and these chaps would run bingo and a few illegal games or whatever to raise some money.
Trust-owned mongrels, aren't we?
You what, sorry?
Lincoln South trust-owned mongrels.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what they call us.
Good tackle by Max Buckland. McDonald again.
Here's the price.
He kicked it. Oh, no, it's a big mark.
If you want to drink, you've got to drink out of the rainwater tank. And if you want to drink during the game, it was a flagon. It was just a white bottle.
Gets the ball, Kieran Hall protects it. Pratt takes it in the end. Does a fend off. Jolly now puts it out, looking for Horton. Horton takes a good mark, plays on, kept his eye on the footy, well done. In, of course, looking forward.
Yeah, so this is fantastic. See, so this belongs to the club.
Yep. I think Ralph Glasson must have knocked it up for the reunion. What was that? The 50-year reunion.
Gee, this is there's some fantastic history. Be good to sit down and consume all that a little bit better.
South's continued brilliant run, so they certainly
yeah, they've been a successful club.
Have had a lot of success.
Yeah.
There was no change room, no club rooms at all. So they really didn't have a base to go by.
Yeah, well, that's right. It makes it a bit difficult when you haven't got a home to build around.
From, I can remember the club having...
Well, these fellas here.
Yeah. Goog Hogan and Dick Hancock.
Your dad is Goog Hogan?
Yeah, that's correct.
He was a South player?
Yeah, he came over from North Adelaide in 1946 and was in the railways.
Yep.
And he was playing for North Adelaide, and he was a coach, voted the coach of the club. He played 2 games in North Adelaide, called him back. And that's when I think Freddie Eames took over as coach.
Well, there's been a bit of family tradition with Hogans and other families.
Yeah.
If you were here in 1965, did you go on the football trip to Broken Hill?
I most certainly did. One of the best footy trips I've ever been on.
I can remember you on the bar here at Lincoln South playing your guitar, singing Yellow Submarine. I hear tell you tried to do the same at Broken Hill.
Yes, we did. That was a theme song of that trip in the end. And a few of the guys that were on that trip reminded me of that this week. I remember that.
How did you remember playing footy that day? We played against West Wyalla.
I think I remember running out the player in front of me because we've had a few pre-game drinks. And the player in front of me hit the gate running out on the oval and I tripped over him. And then I remember someone else, yours truly I think it was, that was running along the wing and stopped chasing the ball and had a bit of an upset stomach, so we had to stop and...
I wonder who that was.
Oh, I'm not sure who it was. A little bloke, quite fast, but yeah.
I got dragged and but I've had I think one thing was that Maury Barry was coaching, said to pick up this Croft, pick him up, and I thought I did, but I found out there were twins, there were two of them.
Yeah, that's right, they run us muck that day.
So who were the best players you played with in Souths? Who were the best three?
Oh, I've got to say Neville O'Brien.
Yeah.
Most consistently good player.
Hard at it.
Stephen Horn, obviously the highest game player in the Lincoln South Club.
I didn't play with him.
Yeah.
We had a couple of blokes who turned up in town to play. Remember Jimmy Sear?
I do, I remember him. I was trying to remember his name not so long ago. He was from Victoria, Ballarat.
Yeah.
Very good.
Maybe the best player I'd seen play.
Had a lot of good players.
What about a good leader on the field?
Oh, you got to go to Maury Barry. Can't go past that. He was playing centre half back and I was on the flank there, and he used to come through huffing and puffing like a steam train. But he made me, as a young kid, he made me feel 10 foot tall. It's just that confidence he put into you.
I heard that.
And he led by example.
And now there's a wonderful footballer and coach was Maury Barry. Geez, he could play the game.
You would describe him as an in and under player?
Oh, absolutely.
He came from Loxton, I reckon. Bank SA Loxton, or State Bank of South Australia Loxton.
Correct way.
And yeah, the Barrys are notoriously good sportsmen. But Murray was also another magnificent bloke. Just the older guys were so supportive of us young blokes, and like Trevor Speed was the president.
Barry Speed.
Barry Speed. I mean, there was the president. Trevor was his lad, but the older blokes just nurtured you, so they knew how to get the best out of you.
A venerable sort of club.
Yeah, but they loved you to have a bit of spunk about you too. They wanted you to enjoy yourself. And
that's a Port Lincoln thing.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
You know, you could be a bit biased in your own club, but certainly those guys did help you along the road. Magic men.
No, he was right up there. And not just for Lincoln South, like for the league.
I see Maury Barry over there. Can you explain something about Maury as what he led as a captain coach?
Maury was a great leader, a really great leader.
Yeah.
He wasn't that good a motivator off the field, but on the field, he'd put his head down and you'd follow him. You'd really do it that way.
He set a great example from centre half back when he...
The centre half back,
attacked the ball and the player.
Exactly right, yeah. But he said, when I first joined South, he said, "Where do you play?" And I said, well I put me anywhere. So they put me on the wing. And I thought, well, yeah. So there was Dougie Glass, Trevor White, you remember Trevor White?
Yes, yep.
And Dougie always said, where were the blokes that got it and give it to him? All the time.
Because you came over, what brought you to town? What brought you to Lincoln?
Oh, I was in the Department of Lands.
Oh, really?
At that stage, yeah.
Yeah, until you got bored?
Oh, no, I joined the bank after that.
Oh, really?
That's how I knew.
You'd heard that he was coming?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a fella that coached Maury put us onto him, Dobby King.
Yeah, Dobby King had been a coach.
He was involved in the club, and he was coaching here, and we were looking for another coach, so he recommended Maury to us, and he must have known you were coming.
Well, he used to play for East Gambia, where I used to play. So I went down there over Christmas and met him in the pub, in the Federal Hotel. So I told him I was going to Port Lincoln. So East Gambia must have told him that I was all right. So yeah, so I got a photo, then I got a letter from South
got a letter from Tasman, she got a letter from Marble Range, so the word must have got out somewhere.
It's called prior information.
Had you been coaching previously?
No.
Yeah, which £200 at that time was pretty good knicker actually.
Bought a television set.
There you go. So you had a television set. That was really the only paid player though, wasn't it? Really, you or paid position, wasn't it? It was coaching. So you
coaching is £200.
Yeah.
To coach. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was sort of fairly standard. I think it was really only in the 60s that players were really started to get paid for really just playing. I think.
Yeah. Well, one of the publicans, John Marmion, he sort of started off. We started playing, I don't know, $5 a game to the players that won. It was a winning game. That must have been in my time, I think. Or it might have been later. Yeah.
And that was at Souths?
Yeah.
So he was obviously a staunch supporter?
Yeah, he was a patron.
Yeah, the Northern Hotel.
We initially would go to the Northern Hotel after the game of football. When I started, the drinking age was 21, so you didn't drink, but you'd go there and have squashes, and all these men would be drinking, and no women around. It was the front bar or the main bar, and that's when, after that, decided to build the club rooms. And it was still men only when I first sort of came up here, and then they decided we'll have teas at the club rooms. So the women came in, and out the back used to be an old work shed, about a 3 metre by 3 metre tin shed that we cooked the steaks in on a open half a 44 once again, with the wood in there on a grill plate. And they would cook the steaks out there, and they'd have a couple of runners supplying the cooks beverages to keep the show going, and bring the steaks into the hall, and there was probably some salads, maybe, and the ladies would bring the salads, and that's where teas became involved with the footy club after games.
Around about what?
Would have been
year?
We weren't. It wasn't 64, because the 64 I remember being at the Northern Hotel, I think, so it would have been when the club rooms were built. Here we go. I made some notes. The original club rooms was a 60 by 40 shed built in 1961, and it was built by 80 Glass and Sons in 1961 on the 11th, and opened on the 11th of the 3rd, 1961. So this is when the first club rooms were built. So in 1966, the club purchased a block of land at the rear of the existing club rooms, and it was covered in prickle bushes, it says in this little notes, but I'm pretty sure that would have been those prickly acacia in this area, because there's a lot up the back here. That was 1966. Yep. In 1967, they had some extensions to the original club rooms on the east side and the front. So this part here was, that part
that brick wall.
Yeah.
The white wall.
This wasn't here at all. Yeah. So that was built on. Built onto the east side, and the re-siding of the kitchen and committee room. So that was, the kitchen was up this end of the hall originally, and the committee room was over there, still the committee room. Originally, the footy club was in joint ventures with the cricket club, Lincoln South Cricket Club. A chap called Ian McKay, and he played football for South and cricket, and they decided to build the original shed together. But because of with all the extensions, etc., the cricket club didn't want to continue, so they sort of moved out. Yep. In 1968, the Lincoln South Cricket Club decided not to continue with co-owners of the club rooms, and resolved to buy, and they were paid out by the Lincoln South Football Club until the debt was repaid.
South on the ball. Horton takes it clean, gets the handball on. Lovely positioning. That's a beautiful spot.
1982, lights were installed at the Ravendale Oval because we were allocated the oval to train on. There was a Ravendale Oval was out there, Stanford out there, and Ravendale there in Centenary. And
now he goes out even wider, finding the young fella over there. I'm not sure who that is with the coloured boots. He goes into the middle. They're cut off beautifully by Levo McDonald. He plays on quickly now, looking for big Kieran Hall. Gathers, trips over, loses his feet. He was running too quick for himself. Dylan George goes on his left, gets a handball out again. Or the young fella, that's too high. No calls, umpire calls, I thought too high. Madden, good tackle, looking for out wide and finding Shillabeer. He's hurt himself.
How's your knee there, Roy?
Yes, much better, thank you very much, Johnny.
when we were playing football at Centenary, football training started at 5 o'clock, and by 6 o'clock it was dark.
Because no lights.
No lights, you see, so you had to get there to training and you're running around the dark, and then you have to, I can remember quite clearly saying, kick the ball in the air so we could see it. When you're doing circle work, kick the ball in the air so you could see it. And some of the bank clerk boys used to knock off at 5:30, so they got there till 5:45. And Maury Barry used to make us run 8 laps when we finished training. 8 laps. We finished, but we didn't train as hard and as long. And by the time the 6th or 7th, 8th laps were finished, you could see the boys dropping off in the dark, heading into the change. It was only the dedicated ones that stayed out. But so, anyway, the lights at Ravendale were installed for training purposes. That's when training started a bit later and finished later.
Do you still train at Ravendale?
No, because of the allocation of ovals, Boston's got their oval and Tasman's and Waybecks have got out at Ravendale, we were allocated Centenary.
To train on?
To train on.
Yeah, okay.
So that's sort of has become our home ground.
Joey Burgoyne from behind punches the ball clear, however it comes to the ground. It's picked up now by Kenny. He puts out a long handball and it's out there towards Mullen, puts the ball onto the foot and it's come around to the centre wing, and South are on the move here. They've got 2 or 3 players in the clear. They've picked the ball up now and they're coming towards the centre half forward position looking for Scott. A great pass there.
That was an excellent pass by Michael Torrens there. He read the ball well, and an excellent lead from Darryl Scott.
So in 1985, what was the original Jarrah floor in there, the old shed that was built in Match Grain, was sort of falling apart and breaking up easy. It was replaced with concrete and parquetry tiles to the new carpet.
Boston's at least making Souths earn their touches at the moment.
Jack Shanley and Hayden Carey to go up. Quick kick out by Wilkins.
Jack and Hayden. In the ruck, that is. Hayden's done more around the ground.
Binder assessing his options. He'll pump it long.
Is that Tristan?
Nah, it's Callum. Yeah, Tristan's his brother. Yep. Yeah, Tristan would be handy. Tristan's playing at Nord at the moment.
Whoa, it's probably a mark. I would say. Just grab that. Are we going to go? Where's the space? Where's the space?
Hands it off to Keast. Bit of a scruff here on the wing. Shaggy will come in. Good spin by Druitt. Finds Frank. Sticks the one plug out. Mad Dog. Kick it from 50. Bryant, good hands.
Righto, we've got him. Boston's got him covered.
And he'll pass it off.
he was going to show us what his dad did.
Well, we just don't flick it out.
Horton off the right foot, and he'll kick a goal.
Yeah, it's good the way you throw that in, a couple of them in every now and then.
Well, that's your lads team.
Yeah, that's good to see the youth performing. When was that year, that one? Was it
last year?
Yeah.
They got the first goal in the first half, didn't they?
Yep. Wilkins straight out of the middle.
It was good pressure.
Yep. Bryant off to McDonald.
We've got a lot of free players here.
Off the right foot, he'll kick a goal.
That's a great, that was well done. Great skill, great skill.
And in 1987, a new addition to the club rooms through a government CDEP or CEP grant titled Lincoln South Community Facilities was built, and that's that side of behind us over there of that west wing, which did include a swimming pool at the back, a small swimming pool, which is no longer there. It's been covered over and used as a boxing gym.
That was great when they put that in there.
It was a great pool. Tell me about it.
They had a spa, a swimming pool, gym equipment, boxing gear, showers. It was just awesome, but just didn't get used enough. It was only us old farts used it. The rest of the young kids sort of hopped in and went out.
Really, yeah. Mm.
No, it was good.
It was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm. It was popular.
Yeah.
Mm. It was certainly used by the footballers, I think. Wasn't it? Not really.
The swimming pool was a bit of a novelty. It
Mm.
took too much to look after, and had to have a qualified person there to full time be paid. So and it was, it might have been heated and
High maintenance. It was heated.
high maintenance.
Yep. Yep.
So that sort of fizzled, and so the original beginnings of the footy club down at the old Centenary Oval in a tin shed of wood chip heaters and being changed with your numbers 1, 2, 3 round to 20 and sitting on the benches to get changed and play and train and raising money down of a Sunday morning, which I wasn't old enough to go to. You had to be 21 to get in because they were drinking. And the police would sometimes, I think, come and raid the premises maybe, or they'd say they're going to raid, so they'd give them a bit of notice.
That was the tradition, I think.
To deciding to come up here and buy a block of land and build a shed on. And the other football clubs, Tasmans have done the same, and Boston's have done the same. And
Sonny seemed to pump it forward. Gets it inside 50, but Souths are just there. Keith.
Oh, that was...
Jimmy, quick handball.
Right in front of you!
My ball, says the umpire.
Okay, well that was pretty unlucky for South. That was definitely a mark there, set half back. Good tap out from South. They're going wide. Now Boston's have got to make this ball.
Young Ollie Sellon.
Control.
Ben Shillabeer gets the quick kick forward. Billy Ware and Druitt go at it.
Well punched from Billy Ware.
Frank the Tank again. Finds Jake Turner. Another goal to South.
And Lincoln South has always played at Centenary as its home ground, or?
yes, yeah. Well, it was the home ground of Wayback's Tasmans and Souths back in the 50s and the 60s.
So we had a bye every other week.
There was only 3 teams, and then Marble Range came in and had the 4th team, so we played every week.
And they could play a little bit, the glass ball?
Yes, indeed.
Good characters, hard at it?
Yeah, well, Dougie he always brags about he played association centre-half forward, and he's only 5'8".
That's right. He was only
short of centre-half forward association, that was.
It was Doug Glass?
Doug Glass, yes.
So he could play?
He could play, right.
He could play, yeah.
Cheeky little bugger, but he could play.
Thanks, mate. No, that's cool. Yep.
Well, this goes back to 46.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want to go back that far.
As far as you remember, so obviously not that far.
there was only under 16 senior Colts when I started playing, so there was no under 14s, 13s, 11s, 10s and 9s. And if you wanted to play football, you had to play under 16. So you would start at as a 10 or 11 or 12-year-old trying to get a game when only 20 could play. And you didn't get a game for a long time until you could a bit bigger, a bit stronger. And,
did a lot of fellas miss out though? Because obviously Port Lincoln had a reasonable population.
Yeah. Well, I can remember being about number 28, 30 man, so you didn't get a game. And there were no interchange players. And some people who got the Colts somebody must have got together and said, look, we've got to get these kids playing football. So they formed the Colts, and I think it was Darcy Harvey from Waybacks and Max Harvey from Tasmans and Goog Jones from Lincoln South. So, and they had a big influence on getting Colts football started in Port Lincoln.
Around about what year?
It would have been 1953, when Colts first started. All schoolboys.
That was just senior Colts, wasn't it?
Yeah, senior Colts, under 16s. And that's where the Colts football started. Goog Jones, Harry Jones, and a chap called Errol Taylor and Reggie Dorr and Kevin Shepherd and Stan Reynolds that I played under. They were instrumental in keeping the Colts going. And a chap called, and then I think it's Lou Morgan and Max Harvey and Ron Richardson from Tasmans. They decided, well, we've got too many kids playing, too many trying to get an under 16, so we have to have an under 14s team. So they decided to have a Colts under 14 in Port Lincoln, and that probably began in about in the 60s sometime. And then it graduated to
all the way to under 10s?
The 13s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then under 10s. And worked its way down to under 9s, and now it's back to down to Auskick. Played Friday nights at Ravendale for under 9s, I think.
Okay, so when did you first play a game with Ralph?
About 1959. I was 14. Out at Wongery against Marble Range. I played under 16s and then go and play A grade. Or sit on the fence in those days.
What year did you go up to A grade?
1959 I was still playing Colts, and 1960 I was still playing Colts and playing A grade. So.
About then.
And how was Souths going at that time?
Well, we won it in '64.
We were in the top 3 sort of thing. Well, there was only 3.
I was going to say you were probably in the top 3.
Top 3 teams, and then when Marble Range came in, there was 4 teams. So.
Oh, that's right. So yeah.
So back when it was only 3 teams, I think I can remember that the team that finished top, if they were beaten in the semi-final, they had a right to re-challenge. Second and third played, and the loser went out. The second team played the top team, and if the top team lost, they had the right to re-challenge.
Yeah. It had the double chance.
Yeah, the double chance. That's what
they still called it minor premiers.
Minor premiers.
It's called minor premiers.
So if you were second or third to win the grand final, you had to probably play 2 games against the grand finalists. So that's when we were playing together. And
that was about when you came in and played centre, and I had to go into the back lines.
Oh, really? So you actually took his spot?
Got degraded.
That was, I dare say, the subject of some conversation around the dinner table? Or?
I was only a little boy.
So he could play a bit?
Oh, yeah, he was pretty good, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was his strengths?
Both legs. Had two sides to his body, could kick either way. Same with handball.
And which was a bit rare back in that particular time.
Well, my brother Ralph made
just at the right time, because a lot of players only played with the right, right leg, kicking the ball.
Could
kick a goal?
How long you got?
Yeah, it allowed you to turn to the left and kick and get out of the packs. Yeah, if you kick both legs.
And that was something that obviously you passed on to Doug, but that was passed on by what, your father, the importance of it, or you practiced it?
Well, we never saw my father play football. I don't know whether Ralph did. I don't think.
Well, but the kicking both legs, you obviously practiced.
We lived downtown here, down from the Boston Hotel, down by the railway line, on this side of the railway line, and gravel roads out the front. So I would have been 20, and Doug would have been about 10, and we used to kick the ball out through our backyard, out the gate and across the road, and if a car come and you went out and got it, if a car ran over the footy, you just lost it. So I realised that I could only kick one leg, so
he got me to kick.
I made him kick left leggers by hiding his boot and sticking the sand shoe where it was.
What?
Couldn't find his right boot, so he had to kick left boot with his left. So, and that's where he learned.
And it stood you in good stead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is 57.
'61.
South continuing brilliant run. On the other hand, the Eagles were shocked by the Saints. Who were the Saints?
Team from up
that's Morrie.
Up Tumby Bay way, Air United.
So when they came into the Lincoln competition?
Ungara, Lipson, that area, they came into the competition.
When the Eastern Air Peninsula folded in about 1961?
Oh, you've got a better memory than me, but...
Well, it's not my memory, but...
Tumby Bay were in too.
Yeah, Tumby Bay wanted to come to Port Lincoln in search of better competition.
Yes, they were getting too strong up there.
Correct weight. And so Ungara amalgamated with Lipson and Butler Tanks.
Yes.
Who had won 2 or 3 in a row there.
Right.
In fact, Ron Campbell, who filmed those grand finals, played full-back for Ungara in one of those premierships when they upset Butler Tanks.
Yes, well, he went on to play with Air United. I remember playing against Ron.
And he could play?
Yeah, very hard, strong.
Yep, he's obviously a good reader of the ball, I think.
Yeah.
By the way, he films football.
Fine kick there by Karatzabalis anyway, taken away by Leshen, down to the centre area. Bounce favours House. He mishandles it. He's at centre half back now. Tapped on beautifully by Moose, picked up by Rowe. Rowe the kick, going deep. 2 Boston players spoil each other then. The kick forward by Duncan finds power once again, about 12 metres out directly in front of a goal.
Yes, well, Duncan, once he got possession of that ball brilliantly, he looked forward and was going to handball that one, I think, go for the long hand pass to Power, but saw that he had his opponent under the ball and was backing back and threw it quickly onto the boot, and it worked for Lincoln South. It came off and Power was able to take that one on the chest running backwards, and he shouldn't miss this one, Gaz.
I'll have 2 bobs with it.
No, well, you can...
I think he just scraped that one in too, Peter.
I think that squares us up because that one's gone through and this is turning into a great football game, Gaz. What do you think?
But there was those 3 clubs went together
so
to
they were in
form
the
the
Port
Saints.
Lincoln Football League, and that was 6 teams. And
So that was quite a dramatic expansion, from 3 to 6.
Oh, well, 3 to 4.
Oh, sorry, with Marble Range, but then you had Tumby Bay and Air United come in around about 61, so 62, so then up to a 6-team competition. You were still playing, Ralph?
No, what do you want to? I finished about 66.
Oh, so you were still playing when obviously there was a 6-team comp?
Played against Air United.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to travel up to Ungara and Lipson to play, and Tumby Bay.
How was that?
Probably an easy trip up there, but a hard trip coming home.
It would have been Big trip coming home.
Big trip coming home.
As they were in one back in those days.
Did the Glasses say anything about their dad?
I think Tasman.
Alec?
No.
Yeah. He was, when I first come here, he was a great fellow. He was sort of like the head of the whole setup. He done a lot for the club. Yeah, Doug and Ralph's father.
So they followed in his footsteps.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
What was his name, the old man?
Alec Glass, yeah. Terrific fella.
I think the town was zoned.
Correct.
Tasmans were there, so Coetonians was Curtin Point, Centrals was the town.
Did you have freezers at that point?
I think that's where the Lincoln South.
Yeah, what years are we talking?
Pre-war.
Late
30s. Late 1930s, pre-war.
Yeah, Coetonians and Centrals.
Tasmans and Coetonians, Centrals.
Well, Tasmans were Centrals, weren't they?
They became.
Way back to the old team. They're 100 years old they are. And they call themselves Waybacks because they were mostly the close-in farmers over the hill, way back. They were way. That's where the original Wayback came.
And I think where the Coetonians became Lincoln South from the Freezers area.
That's right. The other side of the railway line still is Curtin Point, called Curtin Point. And so the Coetonians they did try to zone it at one time, but it didn't work successfully because it was too hard to police.
True.
And a lot of the Lincoln South fellas worked at the freezing works out here. We had a big freezing works out here, exporting pigs and lambs. They came with the Coetonians and formed Lincoln South because Lincoln South was the southern end of the town, sort of thing. It sort of fitted. And that's about how that originated, and of course Wayback stayed. And I think that Tasman's must have originated from Centrals. Yeah, the fellas.
And how did your father get involved with Lincoln South then?
Well,
because he was maybe a Freezers man or a Coetonian, or
I'm not sure.
He must. He was too old to go to. He was too old to go to the war, and he come from Adelaide. Well, actually, come from Mount Gambier, and he played for Rovers down in the Mount.
Oh, yeah.
And he came here. I don't know what colours they were or what, but he just must have got tangled up with people that were Coetonians, I guess, at the start. And so he just grew on to being a South.
Shannon Wren now drives it forward,
kick.
mongrel.
There at northeast fields, turns onto the right foot, snaps around. The breeze has caught hold of it, and Darren Bryant takes a very easy, uncontested mark right in front of their goal square. And surely he should not miss from here. And he has it. He's put that one through. That puts South up by 6 points. 2-goal for 16 leads Marble Range 1 goal 4.
You won a lot of premierships, of course.
Yeah, I won. Well, I had 3 or 4 at Loxton. I won at Roseworthy College. I played for Roseworthy College.
Oh, did you? In pink?
Yeah, black and pink. You remember? You knew that, did you?
Was that a real pink or?
Yeah, black with pink collars and tufts. Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, it was strange, yeah.
Felt a bit like you.
Well, we had a very good team there for a couple of years. We played off 1-1 and runner-up next year, and then, of course, all the third years disappeared. That was a good. And we struggled. Didn't get to make the 4 the third year I was there. So. Yeah.
But you had a couple of good years.
Yeah.
Pink, and of course they coexisted with Roseworthy for a while.
Not in my time.
But prior to that.
Yeah, but Roseworthy So we played in the Gawler League.
Yes.
Yeah, with like Gawler South and Gawler Centrals and Williston and Salisbury were in it in those days.
Salisbury net right up until they started the Central Districts Football Association or Football League.
Yeah, well before Central started.
Well, that's right, but as in preparation for them starting, they started a league, remember? And that's when Elizabeth and Salisbury and the others went in, because previously they were playing in the Gawler League, like you're talking about. Yeah, that's right. But then you came over here, and obviously there was, what, 3 clubs at the time, or it had Tumby Bay and...
No, there were 6.
Oh, there was 6 when you came.
Yeah, it had Air United and Tumby Bay.
And what was it like playing up at Ungara?
Pretty windy. Yeah, well, we played at Ungara and Lipson. They had...
Oh, you played at... So they played home games at Lipson?
Yeah.
As well? Which apparently famously had the worst showers in the history of Australian rules football, is that right?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Yeah, one home game at Lipson, then the next home game would be at Ungara.
Is that right? Yeah, that's interesting. Because they stopped doing that at some stage.
Yeah, I don't know where they got... Well, they folded out, didn't they, eventually? I don't know too sure what happened there.
Well, Air United was Lipson, Butler Tanks and Ungara.
Yeah, they had their own team, own league.
Well, that's right, the Eastern Air Peninsula.
Yeah, Danny Horgan was the president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, and that lasted up until about 1961, and then they came in...
That's right.
Because you arrived in what year?
63.
There you go. Yeah. When it was a 6-team comp, because of course when Ralph and Doug were, well, certainly when Ralph was first playing, it was a 3-team league.
Here?
Yeah.
We were only way back to Tasman and South.
Yeah. That's going back, Ralph.
Yeah, with a bye every other week.
Yeah.
He's put it where he wanted to, and that is a sensational goal. Oh no, it's dropped short. Waybacks aren't happy with that, but they've only got themselves to blame. There should have been a contest there. Should have been some shepherding.
I know you went on to be successful, but how were they going when you arrived?
Well, as I say, the first year, 63, we didn't make the 4.
And then you recruited...
When did they win premierships in 57 or something like that?
Yeah, 57 up there. We did.
Yeah, you won 3 or 4 in the 50s, didn't you, Ralph? 3 or 4?
54.
4. Those 4 there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you won 4. Yep. Yeah, but then you had a little bit of a break, and then Maury came along, and you recruited a couple of bankers and...
Yeah, a couple of coppers.
School
teachers.
Yep. And you worked them hard on the track, only up until 6 o'clock though, because there was no lights.
That's right. Yeah.
But what about the? Of course, the games were very much a kick and a catch sort of style. But you came in at centre half back.
Not the first year. I played. I think I roved in the first year.
But possibly...
Probably centre half. Second year I probably started at centre half back.
Yeah, and being the coach, that was obviously with something in mind, the way you wanted to play?
Yeah, it's just a matter of fitting in with the team, I think. Yeah. You know, the players that we had we got a ruckman called Higgins, Brian Higgins, in 64. So he made a difference to the ruck. And we had another good centre half forward, Barry Speed.
Barry Speed, fantastic player and a great guy.
Yeah.
Tell me about Barry Speed. He played for South Adelaide too, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah. He was a good footballer. Very strong.
He'd be one of the best in the Great Flinders in his time, wouldn't he?
Who did he play for in Great Flinders?
I reckon he might have played for Capini. I reckon he played for Capini. Yeah.
Capini actually won quite a few premierships back in the day.
Yeah.
Tell me about this bloke.
Oh, he's a great centre full back. Yeah. Took the big strong marks on his chest. I remember grabbed that bloody.
As you should. There's been too much of this grab the ball out in front stuff, hasn't there, Ralph?
Yeah.
Because a chess
One of
mark...
the times you had to let them come in here.
But the thing about a chess mark is that you don't drop them.
That's right. Yeah. I can always remember that.
What was your philosophy? You mark it on the chest or you take it in the hands?
Oh, I can't remember now.
What was he? Was he
Yeah, the trick was if you tried to take it in your hand, someone punched it out the way. Didn't they? So you had to get the body in there as well. You didn't put your hands out too far. You had to get the body up to your hands.
Correct. That's right. Attack it with the chest.
Yeah.
Sorry, you coached how many premierships?
Just the one, 64.
Just the one. Yeah. Yep. And you beat Waybacks that year.
Yeah.
Which was always good.
Yeah, it was a wet day and we had a white ball, I remember that.
Okay, I've got Johnny Bryant here tonight. Johnny, you played in that 1964 Premiership. Can you remember any particular things about that game or some of the celebrations that happened afterwards?
I can vividly remember it was a very rainy day.
It was wet.
And they decided to use a white football.
First time?
First time, yeah.
Really, you had a white ball.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a bit slippery because that was sort of like a white paint they had on.
Well, often when the wet weather, they'd use a white ball in those days. Yeah.
Because you would need it with the mud that they used to. Because Centenary's never been particularly well drained. Or anything.
Well, it rained all during the B grade final.
How did you go with your big raking long kick and with that wet ball on that day? I can't remember too many.
I had difficulty kicking it, and I said to Gladstone, Dougie, I said, how are you going with this ball? He said, you should know how to kick the thing properly. But it was a wonderful, because that's the first year I've joined South.
Yes.
Because I previously played for Tasman's, and I went to Glenelg, and I came back in '63, and Tasman's wouldn't clear me in '63.
So that's when
I had to stand out for 2 months.
And then came to South in '64.
South in '64.
So you and I both had a premiership in our first year.
First year, yeah.
I know now you live down Little Douglas. Can you remember any of the other players from South who had any connection with Little Douglas over the years?
Stan Reynolds was one of the main contributors.
Did he still have the cigarette hanging over his lip?
Yeah, and he used to always rub his head.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people were down there were South supporters. Goog Jones.
Goog Jones was president for a while.
He was president. Harry O'Brien.
Yes,
and
yeah.
Actually,
Harry Senior, yeah.
And Neville was a champion.
Yeah, club champion.
Yeah.
And do you remember after our premiership dinner we went back to Alan Honey's butcher shop?
That's right, yes.
And I can remember Ralph Glass. Alan Honey took the actual saw blades off his machine, but Ralph Glass was cooking bacon bones on a cigarette lighter.
I can vaguely remember that. Yeah. We finished up at Maury Barry's house.
Yeah, so
and it was pouring. I can remember that.
Who were 2 or 3 of the best players you remember playing with in your career?
Jimmy Sear.
Jimmy Sear was my best player.
Jimmy Sear was.
He broke his jaw or something to finish up, but he was probably the best player.
Yeah. Jimmy Sear walked into the South and won the game of football. And
I think Charlie Oliver spoke to him.
Yeah.
But he was an absolute champion.
He was brilliant, yeah. And he looked after us young blokes as well.
Oh, yeah, he was hard at it.
He's my all-time favourite, Jimmy Sear.
And Charlie Oliver used to give you a hard time.
Charlie used to give me a hard time, yeah. Charlie used to try and get the best out of it.
I often talked about Charlie Oliver giving you and Bones Acre absolute merciless problems. And
it was good.
And I mean, we lost a few good players. Do you remember some of those have died young?
Good, but Barry Speed.
Yeah.
Barry Speed played centre half forward.
He was steady.
Brilliant football.
Yeah.
Brilliant football.
South Speed rocks Tasman's. So whose speed are they talking about? Oh, they're talking about Barry Speed.
Yes, Barry Speed played in that '64 Premiership, and became president of the club. He was a champion.
Just a couple of thank yous to a few people that have done a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes to get this show to where it is, and I guess everybody out there will be the judge of how well I did that after the night's over. But to Stevie Saunders in particular, and Lee Clark, and all the rest of the social committee, a big thank you from everybody else who have put in a lot of time and effort.
Barry went on to have a run with South Adelaide back in those days with Ian Ford and Des Hargey and Phil Cole, and man was quite successful. There was a detective here called Frank Whitrod who was involved with South Adelaide, and he recruited them from Port Lincoln, and they used to fly over to Adelaide on the plane of Friday night or Saturday morning, play for South Adelaide and come back.
From the 63 side, we missed a 4. We recruited very well. We picked up, I think, the next year there were 7 new players that played in the 64 side.
Where'd you pick them up from?
Well, there were a couple of was a school teacher, a couple of bankers, a couple of coppers. Yeah. So.
Handy floaters?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
really, when you're talking recruiting, you're really talking about the floaters, aren't you?
Well, that's right, because, you know, sort of a town where people come in for 3 or 4 years, and school teachers and...
Correct way.
Yeah. So we recruited very well there and, you know, followed on from that. I mean, more coppers would come, and they'd come because they'd had ones playing for South, so I'd join.
And success breeds success.
Yeah.
It always sounds better those
That's
guys.
right.
You know, come and, if you want to play in a flag, you better play for us. Yeah. But you're a bit small for a centre half back. How'd that work?
I don't know.
You saw him play?
I wasn't playing, but yeah, I did see him play before I came to Lincoln. Yeah, good player.
No paper clippings available for
62 and 63.
So that's...
Well, 63 we've missed out of the 4, so...
You went back to Adelaide to do some course or something, did you? What did you do? You came here and then went back?
Yeah, I came here in 63. I joined the bank, Commonwealth Bank, in 69.
Yeah. From the Lands Department?
Yeah, I was in the Department of Lands here. Yeah. And I came back here in 71. I had 2 years in Adelaide.
Who'd you play with in Adelaide?
I didn't play.
Oh, you didn't?
No. I was 64 then, 34 at least.
Oh, okay, fair enough then. But obviously you played for someone before you came over.
I played at Loxton.
Oh, yeah?
Played in about 4 premierships at Loxton.
Who is? Loxton? Or?
Yeah, Loxton.
Was Loxton North around then, or? Because I know they came in a bit later.
No.
They came in a bit later. Yeah. Well, that was when it was Upper Murray, wasn't it?
Yeah, Upper Murray, yeah. UMFA, Upper Murray Football Association. Yeah.
Yep.
You've got a very good memory, or you?
Well, I mean, to the history a bit. You had Upper Murray, and you had
Mid Murray, and
yeah, I reckon that was even pre Mid Murray, because you had the East Murray League still then, which had
Karoonda,
and you had also Brownswell League there.
Yeah, that was down south.
Then, of course, Brownswell went in with East Murray, I think, and then there was Brownswell 1 and Brownswell 2, which is interesting. And that was, yeah, that's right.
I think he finished playing in 68.
And he moved on as a coach, and Max Horn came along.
Steve Horn's father.
Stephen and Hayden and that family, yeah.
I got all his numbers here.
Okay, what have we got there? What's his stats?
He played 110 for South Whyalla. 61 for South Broken Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He coached both those sides.
Oh, yeah.
60 for Port Nile. 36 for Boilermakers at Wyler.
Really?
Back in them days. Yeah. 13 for Port Adelaide, only the one season. 13 Wyler combined. 12 Eastern Air Peninsula combined. He started as a kid at Coolunga. I think they were farmers or whatever.
Whereabouts was that?
Over by Red Hill, Coolunga.
Oh, really? So over in mid-north sort of area?
Yeah.
Mm.
And he went back to back to Port Nile and coached up there, and then was moved down to Port Lincoln, and the club decided that we needed Max Horn to coach us.
Which was the right thing to do, obviously.
Yeah.
What was he like as a coach?
Pretty demanding, strong.
Because I believe Steve was a hard taskmaster out there. He got it from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Stephen followed, but Max was pretty determined to get the best out of us. Yeah.
Which he did?
He did, yeah. We 69 Premiership, 70 Premiership on the Max. I'd have to have a look at the honourable.
Who'd you win those against?
Gee, you ask more questions than Eddie Maguire.
Yeah. I can say million too.
I think it was way back, 69. Yeah.
That's the 69.
Ah, so there we are, there's 69. In fact, you had a huge year, 14 wins. You only lost one game. No, sorry, you drew one game. Actually, you didn't lose any games. You drew one game.
What year was that?
This is
69.
Yeah, I can remember that quite clearly during the year. We were very strong and winning quite well, and we used to congregate after a game of football down at nightlife at the Lincoln Hotel, and I remember one of the South lads came up and said, Cyril Allen is offering 4-1 that you can't go through the year undefeated. So some of us put some money in, and we backed ourselves. 5 or 10, 20, $30 they put in, some of the lads, and collected. So that was Cyril Allen paid up, and that was the start of corruption in football. But Cyril was a bit smarter than us. He got it back because he knew we'd be back there on the Saturday night to circulate the money. But that was we were undefeated, and he offered the odds and we took him up. And we were only young lads that didn't know much about betting, or I suppose we did.
You knew a bit about footy though? Yeah. Well, that was a close run thing because you did have a draw in there. Do you remember the draw?
Yeah. Was it Marble Range or Tumby Bay?
Well, Marble Range were the closest to that particular year.
The first game? Oh, I'm not too sure.
First game of the year?
We had a draw and then went through undefeated. I'm not too sure whether that's quite right. We backed ourselves to go continue the year undefeated.
And Marble Range here, they own their modern top with the stripes. They finished second with 12 wins. Machine-like league leaders, Lincoln South. Machine-like. So you were fairly well drilled then.
Yeah, we were. We were very strong in those years.
And you all knew your part.
We had some footballers recruited.
Well, we were top.
Recruited Chuck Barrett from. He came in the bank. Dickie Hall came in the railways. Jimmy Lister was in the police force. Neville O'Brien and.
Neville O'Brien?
Definitely Neville O'Brien. He's probably the best I've seen. But I was only there, I got there in '79 and I watched him for 2 years, I think. He was so complete. But man, there were some good footballers. It'd be hard to pick a top three. Smalley was... Smalley was the one I liked the most as a footballer.
Yeah, I love Grant Smalley-Combe. Yeah.
Well, you would have played against him, of course.
I played against him, and yeah, that's another one of my not smart moments, is taking him on at one stage. But anyway, he was at the end of his career and I was at the start of mine, and yeah, but I think he scared the living shit out of me.
Very strange turn of events there, something I've never noticed in A-grade football before. There's the kick out by Clohessy and a fine mark there by Smallacombe. He's really playing a good game.
I've always... there you are, Doug Glass operating like a bus conductor.
You've made a headline there, bus conductor. You certainly had Marble Ranger's measure, 83 points there.
I think that was in the 72.
This is 69 still, I think.
69.
Yeah, 69. But they were your closest competition, but you're certainly well ahead of them, really. And 179 points over Air United, who were struggling at that stage even. Over there, you beat your grand final jinx, which obviously felt good. 1 or 2 long necks were had after that.
That was 69, beat Waybacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a big relief?
Beating Waybacks was always a big relief.
When did you know you'd won it?
You never know, you win it till you run off the oval.
Yeah, well, you only beat him by 21 points, so I reckon you were probably a bit nervy up until the last 5 minutes, probably.
So we went on to the 71 grand final, which I think we played Waybacks in that. And we had their measure. We had their measure for a while. It was pretty good. And I remember I was on the half-forward flank, and the Wayback coach came running back past into the back line. He was changing, and he said, this is in the last quarter, I think, or third quarter, he said, we've got him. Neville O'Brien's broke his arm. That was down the other end. He broke his arm, and he was our inspirational leader and goal kicker and ball getter, etc. And they got us. And he finished up in hospital with a broken arm. So we have always said we had a good chance of winning that one, but we just let it just slipped through our hands. They were the better team. And
plus, obviously they were helped by the by the fracture of an important limb.
Put a bit of blame on that, but
yeah. But anyway.
And I remember coming back to the club rooms on the Saturday night. He got out of hospital and came with his broken arm. They went back, I think.
Yeah, right.
I've always said, and I've said it to a few people, that Neville O'Brien was the best born and bred Lincoln South footballer. Born and bred, not came from other clubs. And because along came Murray, and I've always said Murray Barry was the best player to come to Lincoln South from outside the town.
Better than Robert Jackamara?
Yes.
Who as a player was incredible. Yeah.
Murray was a leader and inspirational and a coach, etc. Well, Robert Jackamara certainly set the town alight with his goal kicking.
Yeah, we kicked 65 in about 4 or 5 games, I think.
Yeah. And he kicked about 19 in one game, I think.
Yes, he did. 18 or 19, yeah. And then he kicked, I remember being out at Stanford one day and he kicked, Chris Prime kicked 9 and Jackamara kicked 14. And there was the big fight up on the balcony of the club rooms there.
Was there?
Yeah. And there was blokes jumping out of the windows of the bar there to get into it and all fighting their way up the steps, like punching each other on their way up the steps. And
what were they, inviting each other home for tea or something? Or?
Something like that. Yeah. What else we got here?
So we go on through the 70s. They were pretty powerful years, and then we sort of slipped back down around away. We never won another premiership till the 80s.
But tell me about the club, because obviously you're involved on the administration side of things.
81. Yes, Ralph was president of the president of Lincoln South for a number of years.
And through to that 1981 Premiership?
To this one in the last, and 69 and 70.
Oh, that was your last years as president?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time we got back to back.
Oh yeah, okay. Tell me about the Premiers.
Right.
You went up and played in that.
How long you got?
Ramblers, through Great Flinders, challenged us through the Port Lincoln Footy League to a contest the following Saturday. It was played and Ramblers won. Incidentally, while I think of it, Phil Cole over there, my mate, he brought Ramblers down with him. He left Lincoln and went to Cummins through employment, and he coached Ramblers and brought them down here and cleaned us up.
Yeah. Great Flinders, Ramblers were the top team in Cummins for a number of years and won 15 in a row, 14 or 15 in a row.
They won 15 in a row, yeah.
And Phil Cole, who used to play for South, a life member, went up to live at Cummins and he coached Ramblers up there. And there was always a bit of South and still in South that. He's actually our cousin. And because we were sort of very strong down here in Port Lincoln, that we had a bit of bragging rights and they had a bit of bragging rights. So at the end of the year, a challenge match came up, Premiers versus Premiers. So they had a week off after their grand final, whereas we had a week of celebrations and then had to train and front up to play this game for Centennial. So they came down pretty confident, and we were pretty confident. But and Ralph can fill you in a bit more about this, but they came down with some money. I didn't know much about the money part. I was only pretty young, and Ralph's got some notes there, but they beat us.
I thought it might have been in here, but it's not.
So they beat you, which they were pretty happy about.
Yeah.
Premiers just there.
Premiers to Premiers, Cummins Ramblers came down and played us on Centenary Oval, beat us. We had a badly handicapped side with injuries, and they had a week off because they played a fortnight beforehand, and were primed up, and we had no week off. I think it's...
And that created an air of remorse and repentance. This uncanny, invisible, infectious feeling got to us all, and it lasted into the following year, in 1970.
We went to Cummins for the Premiers of Premiers and had unfinished business from last year.
I'll get a bit serious about this when I talk. So, firstly, we had to find the will to win, and to win the flag, and then play the King of the Coast Premiers of Premiers game again against whoever won at Cummins. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So the following year, the next year, we both go top again. So the challenge was on. They'd beaten us down here, and we had to play up at Great Flinders, up there.
Cummins, yeah.
So we still only had a week off, and they'd had a fortnight off again. But we were a bit more fired up this time. It was a bit of an insult for them to beat us.
Yeah.
Well, it's a terrific win for Ramblers, really.
Yeah, they beat the Premiers of Port Lincoln. They had very big bragging rights.
For 12 months you would have heard about it probably, yeah.
And that shield up there was a Caltex shield which was donated between, it used to be a shield between Port Lincoln and Lincoln City, Lincoln, Port Lincoln and Great Flinders.
Oh, really?
And it was a challenge match and...
Redemption was done. We won. And the celebration was restarted.
Play them up there and beat them quite easily.
Can you guys stand up? The fellas, you know yourself, whether you was in the side, I can see two of them looking at me like that. Somewhere. Can you just stand up?
I'm the only one around. No, they're standing up now.
Okay, thanks fellas.
Hey, Ralph, do you mind if I say something? A lot of people probably don't know, but we won by 8 goals, Phil, against Ramblers that day. And Peter Lukman stood the best in half back repeatedly on EP at that stage, and he kicked 8 goals. So there was our margin, 8 goals.
Ramblers were very strong.
They certainly were.
To win all those premierships.
Yeah, they certainly were.
So the money came back from up there.
Yep.
Was there a story about Peter Lukman?
Yes, yes. Peter Lukman was another player recruited to South back in the 69, 70s. His photos here, 1970. Didn't play a lot of games, but was very impressive. He did most of his playing off the field. And before we went up to Great Flinders, I can remember a game quite clearly in 1970 or 71 where Peter Lukman was the full forward, Max Horn was coaching. And we weren't doing too well, and we went into the huddle at quarter time, and somebody said, where's Lukey's? He got injured. You're not playing. They said, he's over there sitting in the box. Lukey had a pretty hard night on the Friday night, and Max Horn had picked it up. And this is the days, I think there was no interchange players, only 90th and 20th maybe, and Peter Lukman was told to leave the ground and sit in the huddle. So our full forward went over and sat down there and never played the rest of the game. But he was out training Tuesday and Thursday of the next week, and he was back in the team, so he knew what he did wrong.
Yeah.
That was a sort of disciplinary acts by Max. Lukey accepted his punishment and
got on with it.
And during that Premiers of Premiers game at Cummins, he was a full forward up there, and he was standing Frank Bischoff, the I think just about EP fullback, for the fullback, and kicked 6 or 8 or 9 goals and proved his worth. Never played a lot of games, but he's still around in Adelaide and got a bit of a health problem at the moment, but he's still very fond of the club. We actually, that day we played Great Flinders, one of our players, Frank Martin, hadn't arrived at the game. He was in the back pocket. He was late getting there, and we were all out on the oval. We already started the first quarter with 17 players on the oval. Frank Martin was still coming through the gates. So the first part of the first quarter we played with 17.
South continue hoodoo over Waybacks. Don't you love that?
Good, what's that?
That is a time-honoured tradition. My goodness, footballers were dressing up as women even back then.
Yeah, back then, eh?
So stop doing.
Welcome everybody here tonight.
Players review or something, was it?
That's Barry Speed.
I certainly hope
Spike.
the evening is enjoyable.
Great man.
Bloody oath he was.
Well, these players' reviews were unreal.
There are some ugly women there, man. Because there are some hard men.
Yeah, we're tough guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course their wives all had a great time dressing up. Time-honoured traditions. Do they still do it? Probably not in this day and age of social media.
But they don't have
Players' reviews.
players' reviews in it.
They don't?
Nah, fucking the whole world's gone crazy.
They don't want to embarrass themselves.
But that was one of the highlights of every year.
See, how good's that? Oh, I love all those characters. I mean,
I shall tell you what, I'm just going to get another camera and put it straight over your shoulder so we can get that. How about I put that round so you can rest it on there.
He's in paradise, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Here, this is the beautiful thing about having lots and lots and lots of cameras.
Moves, moving the ball forward, pulling, good tackle. Scrambly play here at the start of the third quarter.
There's no free kicks coming, is there?
Fred Pickett comes through, gets his handball to Joe Burgoyne. Kick. Ross Phillips punches the ball away. Jamie Loxton has it.
He could play, Jamie.
He's now clear.
Tell me, Batty.
Oh, watching Jamie, he was such a good dasher out of there. In fact, he used to land it on our chest, you know, whether it's me or Smarty or the other Smart, from the back pocket by, you know, dashing out, receiving a hand pass, running past the next bloke, hand passing off, and then bang.
Run through the flank, get to the wing and then bang.
And you always put it out in front. You never had if you get a good run up, Jamie would whack the ball out in front. He was awesome. I loved playing footy with him. And him and I actually hated each other to start with. When he first came to the bank, we hated each other. And there was a little incident against Boston's once where one of the guys, I'm not going to mention names, but punched him and I saw it. So I fixed the bloke that punched him, and then me and Jamie ended up being good mates.
Gorman goes short. Looks like he's found Trevor Speed. Didn't gain much distance there, but possession's the name of the game at this point of time. There goes Speed up towards the centre line, pulling, edged out by Miller, and a good mark there by Miller. Chips away short to Burgoyne at centre field. He plays on immediately, kicks further afield. Bit of good body work there. Sees Wells come out. Oh no, it looks like the umpire's picked it up, and Trevor Speed it is to defend again for South. High in the air, pulling under the ball with Miller again. No one able to mark. Pickett, it is the opportunity, running the wrong way, props well, handballs back to nobody, and pulling slips to ground, and looks like a Mallee Park free kick here. Continuity there for Mallee Park, tumbling punt kick forward, doesn't give anybody much opportunity. There's O'Gorman in there, the little burrower for Lincoln South, over to Rowe. Rowe kicks forward. Duncan's recovered but spills this mark. Caught here in possession, but play goes on. He's still down there over the ball. High tackle there, but here's Lovegrove now at the back of the pack, the opportunity. Chips short to Smart. He's flat-footed. He's going to get run down. Sturgis in there now, fighting hard. Knocks on beautifully to Lovegrove. What's he going to do with this one? Slams it in, and it looks like it's through. The crowd's gone mad up the top end, and there's the fourth goal to Lincoln South. 4-4, Mallee Park 2-3.
He could play.
Oh yeah, Lovegrove, he's in it quite a bit. Tell me about him.
Oh, Spud Lovegrove, great bloke, funny man, and very, very capable footballer. Extremely sneaky. Yeah, he used to touch up a few players in a pack, and he got away with it a lot. But the hell he could play.
Well, of course, only one umpire back then. So
Yeah.
Get away with more.
Yep.
And there usually wasn't video.
No, but you know, you expected it too.
You did.
You know, it didn't worry. I don't know about you, but it never worried me getting punched.
Down in the Coochel direction. He paddles it forward to Tuffy McGowan. Couldn't get a hand on it. Away comes Tommy Rush. Got it wide in the direction of Bo Jenkins. He should run onto this. Can he keep it in? Yes, he does. Well done. Bo Jenkins runs onto it. Oh, that was tough stuff from Megsy. But Bo Jenkins is right up to it, puts it out in front of Giddings and Craig Akers. Giddings flicks it back over the top in the Thompson direction. Oh, that was tough. Kim Rowe said, geez, what am I doing out here? I'm too old for this stuff. But a great mark. Howe hits the ground running. He's going to take him on, and Dozza Davey has just welcomed, I think, Simon Howe to Port Lincoln. And a couple other blokes want to give him a kiss for that. Well, that's nice of him, isn't it, Gav?
Look,
Dozza's still in there.
Hell, I think he was really trying to tackle him fair and square. It's just that he's a tall. He plays tall, doesn't he? He plays like he's a 6'6", and he's only 5'6", I reckon.
Yeah,
and Dawson was trying to tackle him around the chest. And
you'd go that high on a bloke who plays tall, Gav?
Yeah,
I agree.
I reckon you would.
So, after the little howdy-doos down here and all the altercations, we've sorted it out. Now, I think Howe should get a kick out of this. And, yes.
I reckon he could lend half his neck to Ian Beebe. I reckon he's stretched a bit, I reckon.
I think so. He was looking up to the sky then, I think he might have been asking the Lord what in the hell he sent him here for. But anyway, he's going to go back and have a dob. I'd say he would be 35, I suppose, metres out.
At best, I reckon. 30 metres, perhaps.
He's going to... Chris Moyles pointing the finger there at something. Just telling him where to kick it. I think he was. He's had a kick at Howe, and...
But as long as you're allowed to turn around and punch him back, it didn't matter. That's the way.
Correct, and also it was umpired like that too.
It was.
Is that right? Now that's it, and that was, you heard that all the time. Yeah. Yep, right, fair enough. That's enough.
Yeah, got him back. Yeah,
for sure. Bit of rough stuff out there today, Smalley, and a lot of free after disposal free kicks, but mostly going to Lincoln South, I noticed.
Yes, well, I seem to have caught one along the line there somewhere.
Good on you.
I think it was someone just coming up to say good day to me. It was a friendly touch. And,
exchanging a few pleasantries.
Yes, and I was glad to give him one back myself. So.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Moorcombe has obviously got the job of tagging Burgoyne. There's a bit of altercations in here and a little bit of a dust up here, right in front of the umpire. Bang, 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 and bang. Well, I wonder who'll come out on top. They're like stacks on the hill here. 3 bags full.
Yes, it's pretty ugly too, Doug.
And I noticed some of the players are keeping right out of it. It's quite good to see the full back and full forwards right out of it, and the smaller player, Pickney Miller and Carbine. Well, plenty of punches thrown. I guess there's a few landed, and it's a pity, but I suppose it's obvious that Joe Burgoyne doesn't like being tagged that hard, and the smaller game's obviously going to do it, so we'll see who comes out on top, whether there'll be no free kick awarded.
Saw that.
Yep.
Do it again. You're gone.
Yep.
His kick towards Lovegrove is on his own. Handball across, well smothered by Continuary. Gets a good bounce. Runs through the player. Tackled beautifully by Continuary. Sturgis now, left-handed handball towards Duncan. Martin and Pickett pressure. Back to Lovegrove. His shot smothered. Tumby Davey comes through. Smallacombe uses his body. Scrambly play here. Pickett gets a boot to the ball.
Oh!
Has paid the mark.
Conjure.
Just the distance.
Scuzzy. Have you met Scuzzy?
Tell me about him.
Little man, but guts he has. Couldn't kick. Well, he just kicked the goal.
Except when he occasionally got onto one.
Yeah, they were generally just a flat punt. Couldn't handball, or didn't handball, but Ellie was a good player. He actually won a male medal.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
I think it was
He's right.
Somebody else won it on a count back, and then years later they awarded him the male medal. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You got a lot of the ball.
But a good little player. Guts he has. Yeah. In and under. He gets plenty of frees, obviously around the neck, but yeah, good player.
an extraordinarily ugly woman. Because it was him in that review.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of the game, Artie? It was a good game. Good game. I thought it was a good one.
That's me.
Yeah.
What do you think of the game? What do you think of it? Good game to win? Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Good one. Sure. Yeah, I got to play soccer tomorrow, but I thought this one's worth it. Playing soccer tomorrow? Yeah. I think this one's worth it, though. You know, it's one of the best games I've played in years. That's about it. We were a little bit of underdogs going into the game, and I thought that we looked like after the half-time we'd go on with it and prove
Bert in the
best
background.
side all year, which we were. And it's great for the club. And
Tell me about Bert.
He's a trainer. Oh man, he was good. He used to have to get their hamstrings right every week. He'd dig them in so hard you'd end up with black thighs because of it. But you could play.
Yeah, because they knew how to get players.
Yeah, they smash up that scar tissue and turn it into flowing blood again. He was awesome at it. But oh God, did it hurt. However, he could play, thanks to Bert.
And another thing they don't do anymore, I think, was the.
That thing that used to zap, stretch your muscles.
And it was what was it exactly?
An
ultrasound. I think you mentioned ultrasound, but it was like it would heat up inside there by the.
That's right, yeah. And then you could turn it on and it would turn it up higher and it would your thigh and stuff. And
of course, the
punch
trainers
inside.
get chatting to someone and they're supposed to move it around and you'd be sitting there and you'd be like.
Yeah, that's right. Jeez, do they still use those things?
I don't think so, because that was pretty, it's pretty rough and ready, really.
Probably ruined a few of us.
Well, yeah, because you had to eventually say, Ian, or that was at Anguston, Oh, yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah.
Right, Wilbs. I'm not much of a talker, but I just reckon that there's a magic feeling here at the moment, and it was magic through the game. Souths are the best. That's all there is to it. Well, what can I say? Nothing. Magic. Here's dunked. I think the reason we won, we're the most desperate side, and I think there wasn't a passenger in the game.
Back at centre field now, umpire Rogers bounces and it favours Sturgis onto that left leg, and another long raking drop punt by that player. Right up to full forward where Smaller Combe fumbles the ball, gives Duncan the chance, but a B-grade bounce there, round onto one leg, hooks towards goal and it's through. It's a fine goal there and a quick reply to Duncan of South.
Played extremely well, and I think that we deserve to win all over the year. Thank you.
That's Luke's old man. He's coaching now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Goes all right in the microphone.
Luke?
No, he's old man.
Oh, the old man. Oh, yeah, he can talk underwater. Yeah. I caught up with him a couple of weeks ago at Harndorf, because he lives at Woodside. Yeah.
I might have to go and see him there.
Congratulations, Stephen Horn. It must be a great thrill as captain of the side. I think it's 2 out of 3 now. How does it feel?
Feels really good.
I thought you put in a pretty hard effort yourself there at centre half back today. Always a hard job against those Mallee Park forwards, but the job well done. Would you like to mention a few of your teammates that you thought did a particularly good job for you today?
I thought Dean Sturgis played really well all day.
Very athletic, terrific mark as you've seen there.
Yeah.
We're capable of anything, really.
Good mark by Sturgis. Best big man on the ground today.
Best on ground today, in my opinion, was the big ruckman for Lincoln South and Dean Sturgis. Dean, what are your thoughts at the moment?
Oh, he elated. I missed out in 81 and I was made up for it today, for sure. No, it was well worth the effort right throughout the year.
Dean Sturgis.
Oh, man, vertical leap. The 83 grand final, I think I kicked 4 and I thought I played a pretty good game, but I think Dean got the best player.
Oh, because he was head and shoulders
Mate,
above
he was just unbelievable. Like, I know the guy that umpired it, he's TP, Tony Pedler from United Yolana, and he came to the pub with us in the car and he said, God, Sturgis was just amazing. But I reckon he took about 7 hangers that day and probably won the tap 70% against some pretty quality jumpers in the Mallee Park group.
Sturgis versus Miller. Sturgis, another big tap. Smart. Well controlled by Continuary. Finds Harry Peel. On his left boot. Towards Juju. Completely outnumbered. Great mark by Sturgis.
An early example of the modern ruckman.
Yep. Yep.
Trailing by almost 8 goals, Mallee Park really have to get something going here. Burgoyne playing on, putting himself under all sorts of pressure. John Cock fumbling as well. Looks like the Mallee Park game has fallen to pieces. Horn handballs over to Smart. He dashes across half forward, kicks in, finds Sturgis on his left leg, point blank range, goal to Lincoln South, and they've got this 1983 grand final pretty well sewn up at this stage, I would suggest. Obviously you had to do a big job in the ruck without your offsider in Lee Barker there today, but how did you cope with that?
Yeah, we had Paddy Pullen in 1981. He had the ruck experience there, and I thought he played really well there as a second ruck today. I thought he was a real good backup player.
How many goals was it today, Dean?
Kicked 2 goals today. Yeah, I missed a shocker. I kicked one, just missed off the line. I should have been a bit quicker, but we'll make up for it next year anyway.
Pickett gets the tap on from a bad bounce there. Williams ducks ahead. No free kick for that reason, and a stalemate, so umpire Pedler will bounce once again. Pullen versus Wells. Another not so good bounce. Horn running the wrong way. Will use the left leg. Only a dribbler, however. Pads Power, the only one there for South. Knocks it away from his immediate opponents. Does it well. Kicks to the centre of the ground. Clark under the ball. Huge leap there by Martin. Oh, and he's allowed Smart the mark from behind. Now, what happened to the man in front on that occasion? Smart kicks forward to half forward. Speed, one hand up. Karatsavalis. Speed again. Can't get it clear. Harry Miller. In all sorts of bother. Wide to Duncan. He's under pressure. Quick kick. Smallacombe. Over to Sturgis. Goal. 1 point only, smothered. Never mind, it's good to see that, well, from South's point of view anyway, that Mallee Park couldn't get their game going. You think you put the pressure on sufficiently to stop that happening?
Yeah, well, you've got to keep the pressure on those running fellas out of the centre, and that's where he drummed it into us at the start of the game. We had to have the pressure on the runners out of the centre and just kept the pressure on them and got in front quarter after quarter and played it right out the last quarter.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yeah, real good. Thanks.
President of the Lincoln South Club, Barry Speed, must be a very happy man at this moment. Just give us a recap of your thoughts, Barry, and how you thought the game went.
Well, I thought we had control of the game for a fair part of it, Peter. Actually, although there was plenty of pressure early, we were able to bottle them up, not give them an option when they were kicking the ball, and that was, and our big men were able to control the air quite well. Dean Sturgis, I thought, played a really magnificent game. Pat Pullen, Smarty, and 1 or 2 others in there were really good. But our desperation was there where it wasn't last time we played them, and the frustration set in a little bit with them. I feel they gave away a few silly frees.
Turns his back on the play, enables Mallee Park to cover the players. Moves kick straight into the Mallee Park scoring zone, but Pullen's there and answers the challenge with a good mark. Pullen kicks away towards Smart, beautiful pass. He turns, looks towards Duncan. Sturgis is there. Good mark, Sturgis.
And, I think the last half, the last quarter, everybody was going through the motions. That's a great feeling, I tell you what.
Barry, just quickly, what does it actually mean to the club to go top? I think it's 2 out of 3 now for Lincoln South. Things must be on a bit of a high there at the moment.
Well, it's 2 out of the last 3, Peter, but if you go back a little bit further, there was about a 9-year gap before we got one, and football can be a pretty fickle thing to you. But yes, at the moment, the club's on a high, although we had a bit of a downer when the senior Colts got beaten for the first time for the year and lost the Premiership by 1 point. But, of course, the A-grade is what we all strive for. And, yes, when you win an A-grade Premiership, it certainly helps the club to roll along, that's for sure.
Thanks very much, Barry.
Isn't it amazing to have interviews from them?
Never seen any of that before.
Because that was done by Ron Campbell.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is where Port Lincoln's been really lucky.
Yeah.
26 goals, 12 to 12 goals, 21. Convincing win. Deservedly so, as I said, and it was because they were prepared to run and meet the ball.
And you were really lucky. This is the first year that Ron started filming football. So it just doesn't exist for anyone before that. Yeah.
Gets the handball out to Rowe. Rowe goes long looking for Duncan at centre wing, and Duncan's juggled and taken this mark. Gets the break, away he goes on his wrong leg, but does it well. Clark gets possession beautifully on this occasion, streaks away from the opposition, shoots for goal, but is offline. No, it's a goal to Clark.
But he also did, usually at the end of a game, he did an interview.
Yeah.
Which no one's ever seen him because they don't really leave the tape running.
Yeah. Just on that was the grand final. Would you watch there? We played Malleys in the second semi-final, and we kicked 26 goal 14 or whatever it was, and got beaten. They kicked 28.
Famously.
Yeah.
Marvellous atmosphere here at Centenary Oval as Moose brings the ball back into play, finds power at the true centre half-back position, marks strongly on the chest. On he goes to centre, looks like Horn. Yes.
He stays there knowing that he's about to cock because he's stationary, and that's real courage, isn't it?
Yeah, that is courage.
Yeah, knowing that I'm probably not going to take this, but I'm...
Yeah, you got to can't move.
Can't move, yeah.
Yes, despite the opposition from behind, he plays on, kicks the ball up to half forward, and there's that elusive half forward flanker in Mark Duncan. Elusive again, gets the ball on quickly, but it's ineffective.
Oh, hospital ball!
Anyway, I think we played Marble Range the week after and beat them quite easily, and then changed the game around a bit. Monty did, the coach, and yeah, we beat them. So
that's Leo
Montgomery, yeah. Good coach.
Leo Montgomery, coach of the victorious Lincoln South side, is no doubt a very happy man. Leo, congratulations first of all on what turned out to be a reasonably comfortable victory. Just how confident were you after going down in that magnificent game in the second semi-final against Mallee Park?
I think, Peter, that brought the best out of our players. They realised then, after that game, that they had to produce. They had to play better football than they did on that day, and they've been working towards that over the last 2 weeks. And I'm very proud of them. I think they've done a magnificent job out there today. They really worked hard and got the ball moving. Wouldn't let them get their game going, and that's what it was all about against that side.
Yes, I thought you did just that. You did a tremendous job in stopping Mallee Park from getting their game going. Is there any special instructions to any particular players to see that Mallee Park weren't able to get going, or was it just a general sort of instruction to the whole team?
No, it was just a general instruction to the whole side. We realised that our forwards didn't apply enough pressure last time we played. When the ball was in our forward line, it came out too easy, and that let them get the loose man loose and get them running. And that was our aim today, was to stop that, to fight to keep the ball in our forward line, and that made the back line job a little bit easier.
Leo, I think it's a credit to the side and the club that you did have the depth to cover 4 injuries, I think it was. Would you like to comment on just how what sort of an unsettling effect that had on the side?
Well, it was a little bit unsettling, but like you say, the club takes credit for that, for the depth that they had. Our reserves have had a good year. Unfortunately, they were put out in the preliminary final. But we were only as strong as what they were, and that's where our strength come from, our reserves, and that's been tremendous.
Just quickly, Leo, I know you want to get away and celebrate with the boys. Who are your best 3 players for Lincoln South?
Well, that's I'd say Dean Sturge, without doubt, was probably best on the ground.
Yeah.
After that, it's hard to say. I haven't really had time to think who was the best players.
Well, perhaps I better take the pressure off you and let you go and enjoy yourself. Congratulations once again, Leo Montgomery.
Thanks very much.
Great Tasman's man. How did he come to South?
He came to South to coach, yeah, and he was a tough coach too. Yeah.
He was a tough coach.
I remember the first year, pre-season, we went to Coffin Bay for 3 days. It was lucky because he got all the players together. Even Erd Tyrrell went, and down the sand hills at Coffins for 3 days. Wasn't a lot of fun, but it got us fit. Yeah.
And it worked.
It worked. He was pretty ruthless, old Monty, but yeah, successful coach for sure.
So it was 1983. So what did you change game-wise when you came up? Obviously, with
just
a
more defensive.
Scoring
more defensive. Obviously, you kick 26 goals and lose. You got to change things around a bit.
There's Martin through in good fashion. Kim Rowe shows his class. Back turns over to O'Gorman. He chips short to Williams, who's starting to come into the game now. And yes, peels off the handball to Miller. Miller onto the left leg, and look at Karatsavalis. He's got the proverbial country mile.
Do you remember how you stopped it, or you just...
Just man up. Yeah, we'll try to against Malleys. They're not easy.
Martin it is, I'm sorry, who took that fine mark. Up the wobbly screw punt, and another equally good mark here by Lovegrove. Handballs out to Sturgis. Sturgis isn't everything so far for South. Kicks another raking kick right up to the square. There's Smallacombe using the body. Pickett equal to the task, and off hands and out of bounds.
They can run, and when they're hot, they're hot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kicks towards the centre. Sturgis attempts to handball it over. Gets it wide towards Williams. Williams' kick is smothered. Dudley has it. Kicks towards Trevor Sambo. Cops a strong body from Stephen Horn. Plays on immediately. Handballs to nobody. Grant Power has the run of the ball. Attempted trip. Goes unnoticed. Power finally gets his kick away. Burgoyne handballs away. Juju Burgoyne quickly through. Dodges, weaves, lines them up from 30 yards out. Spears the goal and would have had another shot anyhow.
And they've got, when they're hot, they put 9 goals on.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know when you've got them because they're capable of kicking 9-10 goals in, 10, 20 minutes or whatever it might be, a quarter. Yeah, they've done it time and again, so...
How many times have they done it now? Hundreds, thousands
of
times?
Yeah. No, you got to hand it to them. They class act, for sure.
26-point advantage to South now. Sturgis takes the ball from the bounce down over to Clark. Clark wobbles one forward. Smallacombe out in strong fashion.
He was one of the...
Kim Clark.
Kim Clark and Kim Rowe were two of the best footballers I've ever played with at getting the ball out of the centre square. Sensational. Clarkey just had such a little sidestep, such a good poise, and he was always ready for someone to hand pass to, and then he'd collect it back. But he was just the most amazing get it out of the centre bloke, and Kim Rowe backed it up as well.
And Kim Clark, footy brain.
Yeah, dead set footy brain, dead set league footballer type bloke.
He was a try. He's one of those footballers you get just tries hard all the time. He's a good steady player.
The kick out by Smallacombe right to the centre of the ground to Kim Clark, who's a real prime motivator for South. He's going to be the real danger player to Boston's today. The long kick right over the half-forward line. House underneath it and Sutherland, and he's got it. House has taken the mark.
1956, I don't know what happened there, but Lincoln South were playing Port Augusta South.
What time of the year?
Was that like an interleague game? Or?
It doesn't really say. Right, A grade and B grade. It's in the...
A grade and B grade, that's interesting.
Yes, so Port Augusta South playing Lincoln South.
What year's that?
56.
1956. That's amazing.
That's a bit. So would that wouldn't be? They wouldn't have that in a trial game, would they? Like
A grade and B grade.
Yeah.
And it's a long way to come with your.
Is there a date on it, like a date, like month?
Well, it says 1956, but it doesn't. So it's in a budget.
It's in a budget, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have a budget for a trial game.
So it must have been some sort of official competition?
I don't know.
Maybe because they had a 3-team comp at the time, maybe they played other clubs, other competitions, because you know how they used to play challenge matches almost as a semi-official sort of competition. Obviously there was no grand final or premiership points, but that was, a lot of clubs existed for only those games.
Yep.
And even after, I know that some of the clubs, particularly Mid-North, they went into some of the leagues, like Orroroo, and then decided, no, we'd rather just play challenge matches, and that was the done thing.
Powers kick out, and once again the long kick to the half-back flank. Through comes Pullen, gains possession, handballs on to Harry Miller. He's tagged, met by Kim Clark. Kim Clark looking wide with a handball to Harry Miller again, who runs through that half-forward line. Handballs on to Karatsavalis, who takes off and kicks deep to the full-forward area. A long kick, bounces through, and I don't think it's touched, and that's another goal to Another goal to South by Karatsavalis. They move on to 7 goals 6.
Well, it was a great game, a great day for Lincoln South. It's been 9 years since they were even in a grand final, and to come off and take it like that, it was a tremendous effort. Also to Boston's, I'd like to congratulate them. A fine game. They took it right up to us all day, and with just probably our last few legs in the last few minutes, it got us out of it. The problems we had during the game, well, we hit the front early, they fought back, and we just had enough legs to keep that bit in front all day. I think that's where we won it.
What was the story coming into this game? Like Boston's, this was obviously an early grand final for them. You were the red hot favourites, or?
We weren't red hot, but that was their first final, first grand final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1980 against Waybacks.
Oh, 1980 was your first one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Their first year.
First semi-final. Marlborough Range, Mallee Park, and Rangers won that by the looks.
Gee, they did. Thriller by 2 points.
Yeah. South v Boston's second semi.
Play on there. There was a scrimmage there. No player had any clear control of it. Montgomery comes through again. He's played a magnificent game for Boston's in that back line. The ball evades Earl, and Karatsavalis runs over the line with it, and it will be thrown in from the half-forward line. The half-forward line for South. Edmonds versus Smallacombe. Edmonds the tap out. Sutherland right over top of the ball, well played. But an honour bent here. Will be a ball up there. The ball was trapped underneath players, and a ball up from there. Edmonds versus Smallacombe again. At the show up. Edmonds the tap out. On to Miller. Tapped away. Rowe gathers. On to House. He's tackled strongly. On to Miller. Back to Smallacombe. Smallacombe with a short kick to Loxton. Good play. The handball on. On to Smart. Play on. The advantage free played there. Smart switching the play back inside to Kim Clark, about 40 metres out on a slight angle from goal. He plays on quickly with a handball to the running Harry Miller. He has the pop. Beat one player. Had the pop. And he's put South's ninth goal through.
What was the score there?
Well, you thoroughly demoralised them, so it must have been... like I say, I have got that game on video.
Yeah, all right.
There's a bit of it in here, actually.
Haynes first Smallacombe in the ruck. Smallacombe over the top. Karatsavalis through quickly. Quick kick on. Sport by Sutherland. Runs into the back of the player in O'Gorman. O'Gorman from half forward, quickly on, looking for Burgoyne. Burgoyne in the pocket, plays on quickly, took the mark, played on quickly, switches to play back, which is good play.
Lenny O'Gorman, he was a...
Brilliant player.
He was a ball magnet, wasn't he?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Playing against him.
I just love playing with him. You know,
Great bloke,
we're all
I'm sure.
just good mates. You know, I don't know.
But Lenny was a guy who was phenomenal the way he would get the free.
Yeah, he's good at that. Yeah.
Because as soon as you were close, you had to avoid Lenny grabbing you by the...
Yeah, that's right.
Because he was going to drag you into him and get a free off you. So you had to be ready. Okay, there's the ball. There's Lenny Gorman. Right?
That's right. You got a good memory of it. That's very true. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's right.
Lenny O'Gorman. Lenny, congratulations. You did it well. Tell us a little bit about the game and perhaps a few of your best players.
Got the wrong end of the knob here. Well, it was a tough game. No worries about that. That pressure was on us straight from the start. We knew we had to go out and win them. They proved it a fortnight ago that they can beat us. We went out there today to prove that we can beat them. We were the top side of the year. I think we deserved the Premiership, and that's how it went today, the way we played.
Not quick or anything, but he just bloody knew how to find the ball.
I played against him when he was an old man.
Did you?
And he was still a ball magnet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drives up to centre half back. Sutherland's spoilt. Through comes O'Gorman. Controls the ball well. Out to the skipper and Stephen Horn. Left boot looking for Burgoyne. Smart. Finds that guy. He's quickly short in towards Tyrrell. About 25 metres out on about a 60-degree angle in the forward pocket for South.
Well,
Erd used to play taller than his height.
Tyrrell?
Yeah, Erd, he wasn't that tall. He's probably same height as me, but he used to be able to get a grab when you think it would be impossible. Like, I don't know whether you watched that one just then,
He's a floater.
Yeah, he sort of stayed in the air for a bit while he was, he's a bit like that King guy last night. But anyway, he was a tough player too, and damn good at grabbing one hand. One grab.
Freeth was steady, have a look for the lead, looking for rally, but drops short into the hands of Clunan. Clunan plays on to Horn. The handball on to Moose. Moose looking for Kim Clark. Met by Wilson. The handball back to Williams. Looking for Smart. In front is Tyrrell, will take the mark on the half-forward line for South.
Great to play with him, actually, but he wouldn't train.
He wouldn't have enjoyed Leo's training. Because he would pick up on the enthusiastic member and...
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll line them up from here. Plays on quickly, and in drops Kim Clark. Clark from 25, 30 metres out, kicks right through the ball, direct kick, a goal to Kim Clark, his first, South second, they move to 2 goals, 1.
As for best players, all played well.
Mick Clunan.
Picked up by Sutherland, handballed on by Sutherland to Hughes. Hughes with the kick out into the open spot, which is a good kick really. But Clunan comes through, bangs it on.
Know anything about him?
I didn't know the name. Tell me about him.
He came from South Adelaide. I think he played some league over there. Bit of a mystery man, just rocked up and played, and he was a hell of a good player. Tough as nails.
Haynes again, possession, kicks towards centre half forward, and the mark taken by Clunan. Clunan on to O'Gorman.
Boston's beat Marlborough Range.
Yep.
And,
good effort.
And the grand final.
There's the grand final, fantastic.
Yeah. What was it? 116, 109. Yeah.
Louth pulling in the front spot. Won by Haynes out to Montgomery. He switches to the half-back line behind his Sutherland. Spoils down in front, Michael Williams. Taps the ball on. Out it comes towards Pullen. Over top of the ball is Sutherland. He will get the free kick for in the back. Threw himself over the ball and well earned. Silly kick. Only covered 5 yards backwards. On to Pate. Pate the kick to the centre wing. Edmonds from behind. Taps the ball over top. Hayden Davey in. Gathers possession well. On the left boot, scrubs it forward, along the ground, in front, House. Through comes Wilson. Switches play towards the centre of the ground looking for Fowler. Spilt what he should have taken. He's met well by Smallercombe. He clears down to the centre wing. Harry Miller spilt what he should have taken. Ernie Warrior, possession. Looking to the half-forward flank, finds Stephen McLaughlin. He switches play in quickly, a long kick in towards that full forward area. Rally on the lead, but behind Power judges it better and takes the saving mark.
Pazzy Power. Was it Pazzy?
Yeah.
Power. Brilliant player.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, strong, tall, obviously.
Another great marker. Took real good hangers coming out of centre, full-back. But seemed to have more time than most big blokes do. He seemed to be able to dodge a tackle and
create space for himself.
Yeah, and then he'd always deliver properly, and he had a massive kick when he wanted to do it. If he had the wind behind him and he wanted to kick down the guts of Centenary, he'd go from full back down to centre half forward. He was great. He was fantastic to play with.
Can you call that one?
Yes, he just got pushed in the back a little bit, but I believe these umpires are just changing a little bit, Peter. Fine kick there by Karatsavalis anyway, taken away by Leshen down to the centre area. Bounce favours House. He mishandles it. He's at centre half back now. Tapped on beautifully by Moose. Picked up by Rowe. Rowe the kick. Going deep. 2 Boston players spoil each other then. The kick forward by Duncan finds Power once again. About 12 metres out directly in front of a goal.
Yes, well, Duncan, once he got possession of that ball brilliantly, he looked forward and was going to handball that one, I think, go for the long hand pass to Power, but saw that he had his opponent under the ball and was backing back and threw it quickly onto the boot, and it worked for Lincoln South. It came off and Power was able to take that one on the chest running backwards, and he shouldn't miss this one, Gaz.
I'll have 2 bobs with it.
No, well, you can...
I think he just scraped that one in too, Peter.
I think that squares us up because that one's gone through and This is turning into a great football game, Gaz. What do you think?
Great bloke too, magic man. Those guys have maintained friendships. All of us have stayed friends and in contact, just about every single one of us, from the day we started playing to the, now I'm 63. Yeah, and some of them are older.
Around wide, looking for Clunan, finds that player. He goes on quickly down towards the centre wing. The running player is Rowe, taps it on intelligently towards Pullen. He grabs the ball on the half-forward flank, drives right into the pocket, looking for Smart, who's dropped back, and he takes the mark.
July, we got Kevin Smart.
From Minnipa.
From Minnipa. Well,
he was a good pickup.
He'd been in Adelaide playing seconds for South Adelaide, I believe, and either didn't like it or what, I don't know, but came back here to Lincoln.
Great.
Yep.
Evans over the top, tap out, Karatzabalis chases in. South regain possession, kick to the half-forward line, and Loxton gets the mark. Loose checking then by Boston's. The ball goes through Montgomery for the first time for the game, I'd say. Barrett retains, holds the ball on, handballs onto Rowe, onto Smart, and through for a goal, and South hit the front. They go on to 10 goals, 9.
First game, South Smelly Park. And we won by the looks. South and Boston, second game. South and Tasmans.
Wow, a complete record. This is a bit like Kath Prime's Port Neal scrapbook.
After the third game, they're saying Lincoln South are the team to beat.
All right.
Chipping in is Power, picked up by Rowe. Switch play right across ground to Williams. South have got players running everywhere with no one checking them. On to Moose, on to Smart. Smart on the left boot, looking for Barrett in that pocket and finds him.
Long season though, isn't it?
It is a long season.
That was against the River Murray League.
Oh yeah. Where was that? Over here or there?
No, that was played. Where was that? That was played over there. Murray Bridge.
Oh yeah. That would have been good fun.
Unbeaten Eagles to stay on top, but we got beat by Waybacks.
By Waybacks, yeah. Everyone's bogey team.
Now I reckon, that was Smarty's first game for South. We recruited him, and the comment here, Smart about to take one of his several brilliant marks in his first game.
Hals kicks deep to that half-forward spot, looking for Smart.
We had a good side before he come along, but whether we would have won the Premiership or not.
Missed by Hughes, hook back onto Loxton. Loxton quickly onto Kim Clark. Clark with the pass in towards Barrett, who spilt what he should have taken. Karatzabalis recovered quickly onto Barrett. Barrett into the goal square again, and there once again.
I don't know, but doesn't matter now. But hell, he was good.
And here we have a bit of classic volley. Limpier has cut the football out and stuck it on.
Oh, volley, yeah.
That was his little
Yep.
thing. He used to have a pair of old school scissors stuck up for the purpose in his dark room there.
Yeah, righto.
And as his eyesight got worse, because by the time I got there in '89, he was half blind, really.
Yeah.
He still took brilliant photos, but he had to have a ball in it.
Yep.
But he would, and I saw him do it, and he would explain, boy, this is what we do to get the ball in it.
Yeah.
And as he got blinder, the edges like this one here, see how it's got a bit of a point on it?
Yeah.
Flat sides, yeah. Well, that's how they got, and then he'd stick it on with glue and then reshoot the picture.
It looks the part though, doesn't it?
Well, just about. But
almost.
Yeah, but you see, they're actually going up here. It's almost, you see. But the best one I ever saw was when everyone's going up like this and there was no room up here to put it, so he just stuck it back here and everyone's heading over this way.
Yeah. Smarty's up pretty high there too.
He's
right?
pretty high there, isn't he?
Kevin Smart, yeah. Great player he was.
Yep.
Picked up by Karatsavalis, out towards that half forward flank. Over the top comes Smart.
Oh, we were favourites.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a pretty good era for Lincoln South.
Yeah, well, that was a good era.
As the photographs attest.
Continuary, Chestmark. Wasting opportunities both sides at the moment. Jimmy Davies in the spot, that's where the ball goes. He plays on, dummies around, breaks clear, aims short, finds Peter Moose.
There's another guy who could take a massive, big, it's Peter Moose. Do you remember Peter Moose?
So brilliant.
Oh, man, could he jump. See, we just had such a great side. Every particular person on that ground was either a very good marker or a very good ball handler, like Kim Clark, and it was just amazing side, really.
Closing minutes of the 83 grand final, 21-17 South, 15-13 Mallee Park. The ball's in Harry Miller's hands. He goes short, too far for Kim Clark. Martin's been a good player for Mallee Park, tremendous defender. Wobbly kick this time towards Joe Burgoyne. Mark held by Kim Rowe, who's been a good player for South. His kick towards half forward. In front is Duncan.
Hadn't been building for a while.
Oh, it's a totally different side to the 81 grand final. 81 grand final had some real guns in it, like, you know, Burgoynes and those guys. Stokes, I think. No, maybe Stokes had gone. But then along came Smalley, Moosey.
Williams, high kick up in the air. Loxton underneath it, but so is Johncock. Very good in the air is Johncock. From centre half back. Tumbling punt. Bit of body work going up there. Burgoyne gets the tap on, looking for Carbine. Taps on in turn, but Moose is playing in front of Pickett. Kicks the ball back. Nobody there, nobody reading the flight of the ball. Harry Miller, soccer fashion, kicks the ball, but it's not ineffective. There's Pickett out there, Freddie Pickett. Oh, well and truly retarded. Play goes on. Joey Burgoyne, wobbly kick. Hines Burgoyne will use the left leg. He's slipped over a lot today. Looks like a stalemate situation here again. Oh no, here's Lovegrove breaking free. Kicks up to centre half forward. Pullen and Duncan. Duncan it is who takes the mark. Out wide, nobody home. Pullen has to run in the wrong way. There's Smart again. Gets a quick kick. Clark making good position in the pocket. Plays on. Tries the banana kick.
There were some frigging good footballers in that team.
Onto Edmonds, recovers magnificently. Left boot again, looking for Wilson. Finds that player. Wilson steadies, hooks the ball back, right into the goal square. And a mark is taken right in the last line of defence by Horn, who kicks out to Power. Power on to Tyrrell. Tyrrell down to the centre wing spot where the ball bounces back. Picked up by Warrior. Short kick on.
This is the 81 grand final.
Freeth finds Freeth. Right on the half forward flank. Right half forward flank for Boston's. He moves the ball on quickly looking for Edmonds. Chipping in is Power. Picked up by Rowe. Switch play right across ground to Williams. Souths have got players running everywhere with no one checking them. On to Moose. On to Smart. Smart on the left boot. Looking for Barrett in that pocket and finds him. On the left half forward flank. And he makes no mistake about that. That's his second goal.
We jumped Boston's early. I think we kicked 6 goals pretty quickly to about 1 goal, but to Boston's credit, they fought back, and I think we won it by 7 points. But it could have gone either way, but yeah.
They had pretty bad stage fright, I think, in the first quarter.
Yeah, obviously, we jumped out the blocks pretty quick, and just as well we did. 7 points in the end, but...
Oh yeah, they came home with a wet sail.
Yeah, yep.
Let him come up here.
If you're going to tell me about someone in a minute, who would it be?
Yeah, well, Harry Miller was a wonderful footballer.
Kim Clark up to the half-forward line. Over the top, a nice, magnificent mark taken by Harry Miller.
He had the capabilities of going further in his football if he had a go in that era, but he didn't.
Ball up now, tapped down by Pullen, picked up by Wollaston. Hurry kick forward to the half-back flank, finds Moose. Harry Miller to take the kick from about 45 metres out, directly in front. That looks good. The goal umpire says that's good. That's Harry Miller's second goal. South's 11th.
Of course, Peter Burgle in there, you know.
Lee Clark for South will take the kick. He's looking forward for Barrett on the lead. Over his head, behind drops Tyrrell, recovers the ball, kicks hurriedly. Burgoyne chips in with a quick thinking, and he boots off the left boot. South's 9th goal. They move to 9 goals 11, leading Boston 7-8.
Peter finished up playing some games at Port Adelaide as well, and of course his son played for Port Power.
Oh, okay.
And of course what's happened now, Peter Burgoyne, who played for the Power, his son now has been recruited. He's on the Power list. So it's gone through 3 generations. So Peter Burgoyne, who's playing in this game, his son played for Port Power.
Kickers grubbed along the ground to the half-forward flank. Stephen Horn, the handball back. Paddy Pullen, Harry Miller, the handball, Clark. He drills a pass to Burgoyne, quickly onto the left boot, 1 goal. That's their 21st goal, South's 21st.
But Peter himself played some games for Port Adelaide with the Magpies.
Yeah, right. Before or after this?
After.
So he's just a young fella here.
Gee whiz, I'm not too sure about that.
Sturgis again out of the air, but his handball is wide. Looks like Davey for Mallee Park. Chips away looking for Dudley, and he's found that player. Only just cleared the South forward. Wobbly kick by Dudley is a bad one. Pullen misses both the ball and the man. Here comes Rowe through in fine fashion. Kicks long for goal. This looks pretty good to me. The goal umpire doesn't move.
Timmy Rowe, good player.
Great player.
Great player, yeah. Either leg. He used to get more kicks on his left than his right, I reckon, because people didn't expect him to go on his left. But, yeah. I think he played for West Adelaide a bit too. Yeah.
Good play.
Nice fella too. Didn't like training though.
Sorry?
Didn't like training much.
Souths are definitely flittering away chances here with 1 goal 6 on the board. I think they'll be, could well rue the outcome of a lot of their early kicking this first quarter later in the game. There's Rowe marking the kick out. A beautiful kick by Rowe.
He always had an excuse for getting to training. There's a few like that though. Eddie Tyrrell.
Oh, yeah.
He was always fishing. Yeah.
Got tackled from behind to take the kick for in the back on the half-forward line. Freeth having a look. The kick right into the goal square. And a good mark taken by Power in the full-back spot. Power, the kick, right, long kick, straight to Williams. Williams a handball to Clark, onto Horn, and a magnificent kick out in front of Barrett on the lead, and Barrett about 35 metres out, slightly to the left-hand flank, has the shot from there, followed through, no doubt about that.
You know, Stephen Horn, our captain, who holds the record here for a number of games, he could have done anything in his football if he wanted to.
Well, congratulations, Stephen, on your fine win today, and well led by yourself as skipper of the side. It's obviously a great thrill for you, and I know I've played in a couple with you. But out to the skipper and Stephen Horn, left boot looking for Burgoyne. Smart finds that guy. He's quickly short in towards Tyrrell, about 25 metres out on about a 60-degree angle in the forward pocket for South. The first time you've led the side, your feelings on leading a Premiership side?
Well, sort of hasn't sunk in yet, I don't think.
Scrambled on Warrior. Warrior off the left boot, and he's put it through. That's Boston's 15th goal. They go to 15-12. They trail South by 2 points, 14-19. Anyone's game at this stage, anyone's game at all.
It's just fantastic. Can't describe it. It's really fantastic. Bad luck to the Boston boys. They could have just as easily won it, but that's the way it goes, you know.
The ball's handball out to Michael Williams. He drives it forward, right into the tee, the goal, behind Montgomery. Brought to ground, Barrett tapped on out. Through comes Duncan. On his own in the goal square is Tyrrell. Just pops it through for South. 15th goal, 15-19 to 15-12. South go to a 7-point lead again. It was anyone's game there in that last quarter particularly, and it was probably a little bit more fitness and maybe a little bit more experience in those last few minutes that may have won that game for you.
And a little bit of luck, I think, Gary, for sure, yeah.
Fair enough, Stephen. Congratulations.
It's pretty much on the mark, actually, because that one I just showed then, that was not paid, that mark.
Yes, that's right.
The umpire says play on.
Yeah.
He's like 15 yards out in front of goal, right in front, and Stephen Horn picks it up and runs away with it. That's what he's referring to after the game. We were a bit lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Another good umpire to
So
say.
that was 1981, but the ball, there's only a couple of points of difference.
Wayne Raleigh?
Yeah, I think so, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, the ball comes in, and your bloke takes the mark.
That was Wayne Raleigh.
2 bounces, draws the player, kicks deep into the full forward area, and Wayne Raleigh takes a great mark and has called play.
Could have been
Actually, the other
paid.
guy's hand was in it, I reckon.
And that's why he hasn't paid it, because his own teammates' hand has been
Yeah, I reckon he was the first hand to grab it. Yeah.
I think I grabbed the ball and hoping that they didn't hear the whistle and took off with it, and yeah, lucky. Yep.
Lucky, but that's fortune of war.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Boston's, but a fine game from yourself personally, and well done by Lincoln South.
Why didn't you play league footy?
Oh, country boy, I suppose. Didn't really want to. Yeah, didn't really want to do it.
The usual story.
Yeah, I guess so.
Didn't fancy it.
There'd be hundreds of blokes who could have gone over and done it. Yeah.
It was a pretty good team effort, actually.
Well done. Congratulations. We better let you go and enjoy yourself, and we'll speak to a few other players. Good on you.
Big screw punt by Trevor Sambo. Pick it up high. Ball comes to ground. Play on's the call. Well umpired, Pedler. Picked up by Horn towards Loxton.
But he never chose that opportunity.
And I gathered from Port Mill guys, he wasn't shy of training.
No, he was an unbelievable player. And like I said, he probably could have done a lot, been very successful in Adelaide, whatever. He was a class act.
Yeah.
And tough.
A poor kick, drops in front, gives Stephen Horn the run. He scrubs a kick towards Harry Miller. Handballs back towards Michael Williams. Through comes O'Gorman. Switches the play wide to the running House. He backpedals. Handballs long, though, to Stephen Horn, who kept running through. Through the half-forward line, on his own is Tyrrell, about 40 metres out from the goals on a slight angle. Undecided what to do. Pullen drops in. The short kick over by Tyrrell finds Pullen 10 metres closer on a 45-degree angle in front of goal. Pullen's kick. Beautiful kick from that position. Straight through the middle for another goal to South. They move on to 3 goals, 1, leading Boston's. No score.
Paddy Pullen was a very, very good footballer for us over the years, you know. He was a very flexible player, could play in the ruck, play centre-half forward, switch him to centre-half back, all those sorts of things.
Moves kick straight into the Mallee Park scoring zone, but Pullen's there and answers the challenge with a good mark. Pullen kicks away towards Smart. Beautiful pass.
How far into his career is this?
At the end of it, like me.
That's a good grab.
Yeah. Yeah,
How old were you?
Oh shit, I was 35. I was at the end of my career.
How many games did you play?
I didn't play a lot because I was always in Adelaide.
Through comes Kim Clark.
I got recruited from here, from Port Adelaide. And I came back when I was 31. So I played 4 years. But I played here 1 year as a junior, won a premiership in the Colts, and I got recruited to go to Adelaide at the age of 15. So I was in Adelaide playing footy to 15 to 31. So I came back here and played 4 years with the club, so I don't know. I probably played 60 odd games. I don't know. Something. I've played 4 seasons. Retired. Never ever made a comeback because I said I'd never do that, and I did.
Smart finds that guy. He's quickly short in towards Tyrrell, about 25 metres out on about a 60-degree angle in the forward pocket for South. We'll line them up from here. Plays on quickly, and in drops Kim Clark. Clark from 25, 30 metres out, kicks right through the ball, direct kick, a goal to Kim Clark, his first, South second. They move to 2 goals, 1 to Boston's no score at about the 14, 15 minute mark of this first quarter.
And then I sort of kept away from the game, but then I came back, coached under 10s and finished up coaching A grade, and we were lucky enough to win a premiership in 90 or 91. 91.
Well, there's the throw in. Kenny goes for the knock, knocks it down to Fred Pickett. He fumbles what he should have taken in really by rights. Mallee Park pick it up and hook it around the corner. And it goes up towards Dudley up there, but Sauce Mullen picks it up and goes straight across the ground and finds Coffey. Coffey takes off with 1 bounce. He's going to be caught, but he handballs, gets rid of the ball, but he puts his teammates under pressure. Mallee Park swoop on it. By crikey, there's some pressure out there at present, Doug. They're really going in for it now. In goes South. Williams picks the ball up, kicks around his corner. It falls in the arms of Smallercombe. Smallercombe puts it on his foot with a great looking kick up towards Scott. He flies, can't quite mark it. The ball.
Too, I think.
Scott is down, he doesn't look too good. He's slowly climbing up, but the ball comes out onto the wing where Mallee Park, through the agency of Dudley, puts the ball up, but Mullen once again dives in, takes a mark. Coffey takes it off with a terrific handball. Freddie Pickett is on the move now with a great looking pass and finds Engelhart. Great pass. Scott's up. He's okay, I think, Doug.
Oh, there's a trip down here, the umpire. Well, he's pinged Stephen Liddell for not coming back on the mark. He doesn't like it. Takes Engelhart right to the 50-metre mark, to the square, through the 50-metre mark and right on the line.
Well, that's the second silly mistake they made up there, Doug.
Well, South are right back in this game level now, and Englehart's going to shoot from 5 metres out, and he ticks the ball down to the Lincoln Hotel.
Engelhart.
Yes,
Sammy Engelhart.
Sam Engelhart. Could he play?
Oh,
and what a hard man.
Oh. Well, I tell you, so when I finished playing, I was running for quite a few years, and I can remember a game at Centenary Oval. Well, there was a couple of things. Sam used to pop his shoulder out all the time, and he would just stand there and just whiz his arm around and bang, it was back. But this particular day, he bloody ran in and hit the goalpost.
Yep.
He hit the goalpost, and for I think it was 2 quarters, he would lean up against the goalpost, and when the ball come down, he would hobble out, jump up in the air and punch the ball away from the full forward, and then he'd come back and lean. Anyway, at half time, we said, "Oh, look, you know," I think the trainer said, "Sam, you know, you've got to get up, and we've got to take you up to the hospital." We get up there, he's broken his leg in 2 places. He played 2 quarters. He was he was a tough man, and he was a scary man too.
Everybody was frightened of him.
Yeah.
Our president, Tony Watson,
yes,
big fella, he said, this guy here is our president. He said, there's only one person in this club I'm frightened of, and it's that fella up in the corner.
Has a good look. A good spoil by Sammy Engelhart, his top
He's a good player, Sam.
Sammy would have been their best player by a mile.
Yeah, he's a good player. He did later go to Lincoln South.
Had some nutter in him, didn't he, old Sammy? Oh, he was a great bloke. I really liked
A really good bloke.
Yeah.
Great footballer.
Yeah.
And a scary man.
Yeah. He got the white line fever sometimes. Yeah, no, he was good. I really liked Sam.
Yeah.
He played for us for a while.
Well, here he is.
Yeah, but I mean a couple of years. But he was you guys, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, but he was a South man there, certainly when I was in league.
Yeah. Good bloke.
Yeah.
Yep.
The hook around the body by Damien Kent into the forward pocket. See Sammy Engelhardt take a well-judged mark.
When I was coaching Port Neal, we had to go to Rudale for a game, and we rocked up there and run out in the ground, and there's Sammy Engelhardt's playing in the half-forward flank for Rudale.
Which is bad news.
Yeah, hello.
It's interesting. How'd that happen?
I don't know, he didn't last there long. I don't know what he was doing. But
What year's that?
84. Yeah, might have just been working up there for a while, I don't know, but yeah, kicking 60-metre goals, no problem.
Because he was only a young fella then in 84.
He would have been, yeah. I had seen him playing. He'd already played for Boston's at that stage, so I knew who he was. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Because he did play a bit of senior footy at Boston's.
yeah,
Not regular, yeah.
yeah.
Kicks it across goals where Engelhardt is playing at the defensive role there with a long sweeping handball out to Slater, the tan man. His long kick up along the half-forward flank sees the ball directed towards Michael Williams, who takes a good chest mark.
Yeah, and he ended up playing the grand final. So,
That's right.
but he had ability.
Oh, yeah.
He had ability. Yeah.
He was a match winner in this one, him and Smalley. And he was one of the best
Great
players I've seen.
Yeah, great player, wonderful kick. Again, tough.
It's tough. And in fact, one of the toughest bouncers in Port Lincoln too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a very switched-on footballer. Like, I remember him in the.
He could kick a 70-metre goal or kick 70 metres out from full back.
Yeah.
Here's Engelhardt kicking the ball out, a monstrous kick. They'll have to cover at least 65 metres. It's drifted over the back, and young Burgoyne is knocked off the ball by Williams, and he gets the ball and handballs out towards Speed. Speed gets hold of it, but the whistle is gone. A play on calls the umpire now. And
But he could play full back, full forward.
Oh, he played both for Souths in 1991.
Yeah.
Yep, and we were at half time. I think we were about 4 goal down. Didn't. It was going to be a struggle anyway. We made some significant moves. I put Grant Smaller came on Joey Burgoyne and told him, "Don't want you to get a kick. I just want you to make sure Joey doesn't get a kick."
Smallcombe has obviously got the job of tagging Burgoyne. There's a bit of altercations in here and a little bit of a dust up here, right in front of the umpire. Bang, 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 and bang. Well, I wonder who'll come out and top. They're like stacks on the hill here. 3 bags full.
yes, it's pretty ugly too, Doug.
We're just watching this footage here. This is one of the best moves I've ever seen in coaching, and Kim Clark obviously did it. And here's a guy that's, I don't know, how old was Smalley there? 35, maybe 37?
41, I reckon.
40. Oh, you're kidding me.
I reckon he was more than 40.
Well, there you go. And he put, Joey was cutting loose, and he's put a bloke that's so old in footy terms onto Joey Burgoyne, and Joey has, and I'm not going to say this detrimentally to Joey, but he's just gone, what the F?
I guess there's a few landed, and it's a pity, but I suppose it's obvious that Joey Burgoyne doesn't like being tagged that hard, and Smallcomb's obviously going to do it, so...
So he would have thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because Smalley used to be able to take out a player. That was the end of Joey for the day. Lincoln South won.
And history's made.
Brilliant bit of coaching, brilliant bit of work of Smalley. He must have been so exhausted. He had to fairly well run around chasing him. I watched it closely.
Just Joey Burgoyne, one of the best players ever played the game.
And, well, Joey was getting on too in that time.
Oh,
but,
true. Yeah.
But Joey was fine on loose ground. Smalley was sticking to him. And
Grant, very, very tough man. Done a magnificent job.
Man Smallcombe is standing Burgoyne out, Joe Burgoyne out here, which could indicate that he might be giving the game to chop him out of the play, or maybe it's just another ploy to stir him up. But obviously something could happen very, very quickly.
And that helped us, and I swung Sammy Engelhardt, who was another fantastic footballer, from centre half back to centre half forward.
Tip there, Trip there by Michael Burgle, and that's what I suppose is the professional free kick, but Michael Torrance with the ball will clear it up towards the centre half forward.
Played a pretty good game today, Torrance too, Doug.
Very tight down the defence. Travis Speed, poor kick up here, but he's found to Pygmy Miller. Miller with the ball. Very fast, this lad. Kick it up here, kick it up to Sauce Mullen. Sauce breaks on his own. Sweeps around on his left leg, but drives the ball in towards Engelhardt, centre half forward. Over his head, Engelhardt takes a one-handed mark. Another great footballer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he used to, I can remember him coming in before the game, and often you'd be a bit of banter happening. That Sam would come in, and he would go to his corner, he would get changed, and he would just sit there, looking at the ground for half an hour or whatever before he went out.
Yeah.
And then when he went out, he was just into it.
He'll drive the ball long into Engelhardt. Nice looking kick. Engelhardt's got to take this mark. Yes, he did. Yeah, he's going to take that mark right from the time it left Michael Williams' boot.
He was just
switched on, yeah.
He was.
No, he was very good. Yeah.
He certainly was. Yeah.
Hazelgrove taking his time. South are in charges. Coffey on his own, calls for the ball. There's plenty of players out there on the wing to kick it to. High up to Engelhardt. Engelhardt marks. Beautiful mark. You can see that on the replay. Strike me pink. He's down.
What a mark.
He hasn't moved either.
Oh, he's starting to move now, Doug. I think he'll be
all right. The umpire has paid a 50-metre penalty of this.
Oh.
I'm not too sure what it's for, but...
I don't know what his 50-metre penalty's for.
Yeah, what is it for?
For kicking the bloke in the head, apparently.
Oh, he came in afterwards and kicked Sam on the head on the ground.
Yeah.
The guy come in this way, went bang. Oh, this foot.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Engelhardt's played a very good game since he was shifted to centre half forward.
Well, we sort of indicated that move. It's half time, that was on.
That's right. Strong overhead mark. Powerhouse performance from him at centre half forward. Here he is, lining him up.
20 metres out, deliberate kick. And he's kicked it into the Lincoln South, into the schoolyard. It's gone that far. It's bounced over the tree and it's going down the road. Well, that's the ball game.
Oh, there's lots of... Yeah, you can talk to Baz about all those little stories, and... Grant Smallacombe, because of his toughness, had lots of good stories in that era.
I'm just glad to get through it.
And he was lucky in the end. He could have probably hurt someone off Smalley, but he was unbelievably tough, sometimes not fair.
He plays on immediately, puts the left footer across the centre of the ground looking for Smallacombe. The ball comes out now, and here's a go for South. There's a clean run at the footy, and it goes in. Robbie Torrance puts it right up there, and Scott has taken a mark 2 metres out from goal. This is a great start for South, Doug.
Well, they certainly needed this, and there's good football back there from Camilleri, who played on quickly and got the ball out to Robbie Torrance, who running through the centre, kicked directly at the goal where they are, and that's the way to win the game, by aiming at the goals. And Scott took a strong mark right in the square and kicked the goal, and that's definitely a good start for South, who have scored their first goal on the board in this quarter. Now trailing 4-9 to 7-10.
Yes, well, if they can get a couple of quick early goals like that, it'll take it right up to Mally's, but they could have asked for a better start. It's terrific play. Speed once again got his hand to that ball then, Doug, and got the ball moving initially.
I noticed the hard man Smallacombe is standing Joe Burgoyne out here, which could indicate that he might be giving the game to chop him out of the play, or maybe it's just another ploy to stir him up. But obviously something could happen very, very quickly. Kenny about to run in against
another tough man.
Tough man, hard, yeah. Nails, right? Hard as nails, yeah.
Smallacombe.
Tough, yeah, old-fashioned.
A wobbly screw punt drops into the arms of Clunan in the back pocket. He plays on with the handball to Pullen. Pullen chips the ball on, looking for Rowe. Through comes Ray Wotherston for Boston's. He blazes towards goal, and a great mark taken by Smallacombe.
I reckon he would have been had to be at least 40 years old, and he played for South in a grand final against Mallee Park, and He was a difference.
Went on to Joe Burgoyne and made all the difference.
That could have been it too. That could have been, but just being there, you know, he had influence. Yeah.
Grant Smallacombe may not have got very many kicks, but he completely demoralised Joe Burgoyne, a linchpin of the Mallee Park Footy Club, took him completely out of the game. And a performance like that, Grant Smallacombe, when it comes up on the statisticians board, he wouldn't have taken many marks or had many kicks, but by crikey, that move, I think, went a long way of winning the game for South.
Perhaps Graham will run through the better players for South. Very hard to pick best players. The first half was very, very uninteresting, but who could we start with?
Well, I think Sauce Mullen, he must have had 50 touches for a start off, Doug. He really drove the ball forward and covered an enormous amount of...
He would definitely have to have 2 or 3 pairs of boots in a year, wouldn't he? He'd kicked the leather off 2 of them, I know.
Well, he covered a tremendous amount of ground, just the running he did. It was quite amazing to see a chap run as far as he did all day. I thought Sammy Engelhart played a mighty game, even when he was in defence, and then especially when it's centre half forward, he was a linchpin up there, took some terrific telling marks, kicked a couple of really telling goals, and I think that centre half forward position is crucial in any footy club and footy team, and he played an extraordinary game.
Scotty Hazelgrove at centre half back, the lead centre back Mallee Park numerous times. Strong overhead marking, straightforward, no nonsense football. He was high on the best players. Travis Speed in his first half played an excellent game there on the half back flank, and he's been an outstanding effort this last half of the year, and full credit to Trevor.
Yeah, so really good, really. Now, you know, you talk about Kim Rowe with his left and right foot, never missed. Just a beautiful disposal of the footballer. He was a great player.
We can hear the crowd responding a little bit to the situation. Sturgis off the back of the pack, fine handball away to Rowe. Rowe onto the left leg. It's a beautiful pass to Kim Clark in the centre of the ground. 15 metres ensuing straight away against Sutherland for the high tackle after the mark was taken. And Kim Clark...
But Lincoln South's always had a big rivalry with Mallee Park, and we've been very successful against Mallee Park over the years.
Always got up for those games.
Well, we had a fair share of Aboriginals. We had Freddie Pickett that played a lot of footy with South.
Scott Hazelgrove puts the ball out. Singleton's on the move now, bounces once, puts the ball onto his left foot and drives up looking for Freddie Pickett, and he should mark that. No, great mark there by Pickett.
Great player, Fred Pickett.
Freddie Pickett actually broke me jaw once when he was playing with the opposition, and then he came and played with us. He always said, "Hey, I got you a good one there, Doug." Cracked your jaw, man. He's a funny bloke.
Yeah.
Actually, he borrowed my wife's wetsuit once to go diving for us. And he goes, "Well, this is so cold in here, Dunks." I said, "Just piss in it." And he goes, "Piss in your wife's wetsuit?" I said, "Yeah, do it." So he did, and he goes, "Oh, it's heaps warm." And then he come back, and the first thing he said to Deb was, "I'm pissed in your wetsuit."
Which wasn't quite the idea, but anyway. Yeah.
Right on the boundary, quickly shoots the ball into Pickett at centre half forward, who had to stand his ground and take a strong mark overhead. Excellent football there from Darryl Squat, who saw Freddie Pickett on his own in the centre half forward position and just out from goals, and he's going to line up for what could be South's second goal in 2 minutes of play. And another kick by Freddie Pickett sees South score a very quick answer to the first one. Excellent football from South. 2 goals in probably 3 minutes of play.
Well, that move for Engelhart actually might be another one that might lift the South team. He got that ball and quite a good kick around his body to Scott. Obviously, Scott is a crucial key to this forward setup with South. He took a great mark and then quickly banged it over to Fred Pickett. So, yeah, maybe those moves that the South coach and hierarchy have made have certainly paid dividends in the early part of this quarter.
Ollie Flanagan.
Ollie?
Yeah, great player.
Yeah, Ollie.
Ian Miller.
We used to call him the Ghost. Ian Miller, good little player.
It's a long time since I've seen this place packed like this, and it's unbelievable. Back in the old days, we used to have a bar along here, and by gee, we used to have some fun there on the Sunday afternoons. But thanks again for coming, and I was lucky enough to be involved in the club in the 80s and 90s, and we had a lot of fantastic times and very, very competitive era.
The start of the second quarter, ball will be bounced down by umpire Schultz. Haynes and Pullen to do the ruck work. Favours Haynes. Through comes Pullen well. Chips the ball over. In the way is David Raleigh for Boston's. He's tagged but gets the kick away. Michael Williams for South, uncontested. In comes Warrior, picked up by Walker, onto Sutherland. Through again comes Pullen, he's tagged. Walker again, onto Michael Miller. He runs through the half-forward line, intercepted by Stephen Horn. In possession is Loxton, he kicks wide to the centre wing spot, to the leading Tyrrell.
I had a yak on Thursday night to a few guys here about 81 and 83 and 91, and I go to 81 and the side was unbelievable. I reckon, there was half that side probably could have played league footy if they wanted to have a crack, and there was guys in that side who had done so. There was guys like Kevin Smart, wonderful player, Paddy Pullen, who's been off to Tasmania today, and I saw him Thursday night the first time for about 25 years.
Steadies, chips in towards the goals. Good individual effort by Pat Pullen. A big effort. What South needed to steady?
Grant Smallcombe, now residing up in Coomera, fantastic player. Brad House, poor old Mick Clunan. Mick Clunan worked for me when he was missing at sea. Tyrrell, I'll never forget his efforts in 81. He was probably close to our best player. Kim Rowe, who I consider probably the best two-sided player outside of Brian Cunningham that I've seen. Wonderful player. Peter Burgoyne, another fantastic player. Peter Moose, what a great mark Peter could do. He was just a fabulous player.
That's where the ball goes. He plays on, dummies around, breaks clear, aims short, finds Peter Moose.
Same with Mark Duncan. Mark Duncan's area of strength was incredible. Little Scuzzy always touched the ball 40 times a game. Jamie Loxton, he was an incredible story. Jamie Loxton could never walk during the week. He had a lot of ankle trouble in that era. And it was just unbelievable how he could front up and play football. I'll never forget that. That's something that's always stuck in my mind.
There's the run by Peel, but it's a shocking kick. Enables Loxton to come in.
Look at him. Fucking ankles.
I was going to say, apparently his ankle was notorious.
He had both ankles, but I think it was his left one that was the worst one. And we used to take these chocolate bars so that we could get the energy. And Jamie first introduced me to it and he thought it was going to help his ankles and the stimulation, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, he could hardly walk in the bank, and I'm testimony to that because I worked in the bank with him. But there was some more underlying issues, I think, than just having crook ankles, which has proved itself later on in years. So, but tough as 10 men. Like, just come Saturday, there's nothing wrong. Let's get out there and play. And he
time to go.
Did over and over again.
Kicks it deep. That's a better looking kick right into the position, but no one in particular, and Jamie Loxton chips in and takes the mark on the half-back plank.
And he played a lot of association and Morlock Shield and all that sort of stuff. He was probably the most underrated back pocket player in that time. Yet he always in association games. A lot of us never made those games. He did. Brilliant player, mate. A lot of time for him.
There's the run by Peel, but it's a shocking kick. Enables Loxton to come in, and he elects to go back and take his kick at half forward. Kicks in, and there's that brilliant half forward flanker in Mark Duncan, chipping in again to take a good overhead mark.
Stephen Horn, our record holder, another fabulous player. Harry Miller. Wasn't much better than Harry. He was a great player. And on that, I'd like to just mention the Indigenous boys in this club. Back in that era when the Manly Park side finally got formed, which I think has been a huge mistake in our town. But them integrated in all the other clubs was always fantastic, and this club was served very well by the Indigenous boys, so thanks to those guys.
Derek Kickett played here.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Lake and South?
Yes. And he was very young. He was about 16 or 15 when he came to South, and I can remember being in the hall. It was a Sunday morning or at some stage. He came from the west with his uncle Lionel Yarran and another young lad called Ralph Winmar. And I saw these walk in the club rooms, Lionel and Derek and Ralphie, and Lionel was their uncle. I think Manly Park were formed, but they were from Western Australia, and Lionel wanted the boys to play for South. So Derek played South Colts, and because of his ability, he wasn't long and he was playing A grade, and he played, I wouldn't be sure how many A grade games, and then he, I don't know where he went back to the west, I think. But the story goes, and Kevin Aliff, who played for Central Districts, lived here in Portland, and he spotted him, and we were zoned to the Port Adelaide area, and he didn't want him to go to Port Adelaide, so I think he contacted Central Districts and got him somehow swiftly over to Central Districts, and he played for the Central Districts Colts, maybe seconds, and then I think he went back to the West and won a Sandover medal, I reckon. And then from there he either came back to Centrals or went to Essendon. So that's how
I think he might have come back to Centrals first before he went to Essendon.
Yeah. So he had a couple of years with Lincoln South. We sort of have bragging rights on him. He may not even remember. I don't think he probably hasn't been back here, but it was either his, and continuing on, it was either his cousin or Theron. It was his brother. Theron, his brother, I think, came and had quite a few years for South from the West.
And would have been a good player too, I think.
Yes, yeah, pretty active. And
you've always had that sort of WA link with the Indigenous lads, or at least for a while, haven't you?
For a while we did, yeah. There was a bit of confrontation with, I think, the West Australian boys when they came over, and Lionel had a bit of influence on them. He was one of the elders and got the boys, but eventually they go to Manly Park or they come back to South. And
Heinsberg on now. Dummies a handball. Kim Clark to Harry Miller. Harry Miller streams down the ground. Jimmy Davey comes in to intercept. Chip towards speed. The sun's in his eyes. It's over the top of that player. Gathers the ball in well. Kicks with his right boot. Keeps the ball in play. And the mark will be paid to Continuary. Last line of defence for Manly Park. Burke Continuary now. Tumbles a punt kick. Michael Williams.
And then, of course, there was Michael Williams, who was a fabulous player in '81. He was only about 18, and he used to always have a crack at me because I was losing my hair. I won't tell you exactly what he said, but he said, "You're an old bald-headed something." Anyway, after all these years, I keep reminding him I've got more friggin' hair than him now.
Centre bounce over the top, Foster. Down to O'Gorman, and will receive the free for over the neck. Oh yes, it's. I didn't think there was much in that one at all, Peter. He was over the ball players, tackled, and anyway, a bad kick by O'Gorman, overrun by McLaughlin. The ball scrambles to the ground, picked up by Williams. Williams a snapshot, and he's made no mistake from about 35 metres out. with South going on to 7 goals 11, leading Boston 6 goals 3. Good bit of play by Williams. He read that well then, Peter, and made the best of his opportunity there.
Put them in with a good lead at this stage.
Won it in 83. So in those 80s, the club was served well and we were very competitive, and we were going for 83. Then we went through with not a lot of success from them. We were successful in 91. Same thing again, there was a damn good side there. Guys like Freddie Pickett, Tim Wakefield, Desi Kenny. Geez, I can remember old Des, you know, he'd take the ball 6 foot bloody 7 or whatever Desi is, and he's trying to run down, bouncing the ball like a rover at times, but he always had a real crack. I used to love him doing that sort of thing. The Torrens boys, by geez, they were a bit of trouble, but what a fabulous group of players those two boys were. Again, those two guys would have easily had a crack at playing league footy. They had a lot of talent. Andrew Camilleri on the wing, fantastic player. Darren Bryant, a bit like Kim Rowe, probably as good as player I've seen left and right, especially for kicking goal. It's a pity these league footballers these days just got to get out, they can't kick a goal. Darren could kick one from anywhere. So he was a great player for us. Another guy that was a lot of trouble for us in that era was Sammy Engelhardt, by how he could play. But he was a bit of a worry getting the footy training and playing, but a wonderful player. Slats, I see Slats here tonight. Slats was a really good player. Darren Coffey, great player. Little Ian Miller, another great player. Sauce Martin, fabulous player on the wing. And then again, of course, there was Michael Williams, Adrian Higgins, Danny Milligan. So all those guys meant a lot to this club in those 80s and 90s, and a lot of them are here tonight. It's just fantastic to see all those guys. One thing I'd like to just close and say now, that one thing that's very special to me, and hopefully special to a lot of people in the club, is the people that do all the hard yards. I got involved in sort of playing and coaching, but I never wanted to get involved in admin because I was always too busy doing other things. But the people, your presidents, your secretaries, all those people who have done unbelievable service, and I'm going to miss some people, but I want to make special mention to guys like Big Higo, Barry Speed, Lee Clark, Harry O'Brien, John Clark, and those particular guys, I wanted to mention other, but I wanted to just mention those in particular because they're the people that have been around for this club and done a big dedicated effort, but all passed on. And I'd like everyone to charge their glasses, please, because I want you to have a toast to the people that kept this club going, who are now not with us any longer. To the past presidents, secretaries and whatever, hear, hear. Thanks for the opportunity. The 80s and 90s were a fantastic era.
Yeah, Wilbur.
Tell me about him.
Great bloke, good footballer.
Pullen down to O'Gorman. Feints the hand pass, plays around Raleigh, kicks to the centre wing spot. It's Freeth versus Williams, and a good mark taken by Williams.
Used to get down and under and down and dirty.
Haynes, the tap, missed by Miller, taken by Rowe, onto Michael Williams. The quick kick onto centre half forward, spoilt by Raleigh, followed through by Sutherland, and a free kick will be given to Duncan.
Had a good little back fist too. A lot of the Tasman blokes wore that.
Here's Wilbur.
Yeah, I won't keep you too long because Casey's just about said everything I could have possibly said anyway. Yeah, I think we put our heads together just for a while there, and I think he stole half my gear anyway. But anyway, nice speech, Casey. Just off the back there, that was good. Well, I just, as a player back in the day, in 1980, I came back from Boston's. I left Boston's. The old man, he was a staunch supporter of South, and he said I wouldn't come and watch a game unless I actually came and played for South. So I thought, well, I better bite the bullet and go and do it, otherwise he won't watch me.
Switches play across ground to Peter Hughes. Good play. Peter Hughes quickly onto Ernie Warrior. Well spoilt then by O'Gorman. Picked up by Tyrrell. Onto Michael Williams, and a good mark taken by Williams. Quickly played on.
Since then, I've never looked back. This is, it's like a big family, it always was, but back in the era when I played, in 81 through to 91, it was the best years of my life, actually. I enjoyed every minute of playing with the boys, and like we had, it was like a family atmosphere, and so it should be like that every year. And I believe that's the culture the boys are bringing back at this minute in the club, which is great. We lost it there for a bit, I believe, and it's all coming back. And that's a credit to the young blokes that are playing today, are bringing that culture into the club, and keep doing it, you boys, because that's what we want to see. And in the guidance of Luke and all those boys, and I'm sure it's going to be a great couple of years coming on. You're starting to build to that level at the minute.
Spare players in the middle for Souths. It's going to make it an easy way home.
Pumped inside 50.
Good position.
Wilkins again, playing up forward. Quick left foot kick.
They can't help but kick goals, can they?
Oh, yep.
Who else we got there?
Student wins male medal.
See, that's the other thing now also, you don't get the fantastic write-ups back at the write-ups were good, like big old play.
Back when Alf was doing it?
Yeah, you don't get it anymore.
Alf Goodwin was good.
Yeah, bloody oath, there were some fantastic write-ups.
Well, he was the editor, he laid it out. But yeah.
Very fair.
Well, I did all the write-ups for the Tasman's games, and
Did you?
I was very unfair, I must
Did you? You were
confess
a
that
bit
now.
biased?
I was quite biased, actually, come to think of it, to be honest. But you're right, the newspaper used to do really good coverage. Back in the days of Volley Linpier.
Yeah. Dedicated.
And he would insist on fantastic coverage, and one of his little quirks, we had Hasselblads, and Volley was the only guy who could take action photographs with it, because it had this lever on the side to zoom in and out. It was impossible to keep still, but he managed to do it.
Yep.
But and he would take great shots, even though he was nearly blind. But then if he didn't get the ball in it, he would cut out a ball and stick it on.
Yeah.
That was back in the old days of dark room and whatnot. And because he was nearly blind, even though he managed to take a great photo, he would cut it. Oh, there's one of my stories. There you go, on Barry Speed.
Yeah.
As president of the Lincoln South Club, Barry Speed must be a very happy man at this moment. Just give us a recap of your thoughts, Barry, and how you thought the game went.
That's Tommy Rush.
Is that Tom Rush Senior? Or?
Yeah, senior.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, another great bloke.
Rushy!
I don't know what's happened to Tom. I haven't seen him for years. Saw his lad a while ago, but yeah, he's another ripper for the club.
Mm. I think young Tom's a bit of a character too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know him that well, but
yeah, very, very sharp elbows anyway.
Blewett waits in anticipation. Doesn't go his way, but it is now. Well done, Timmy Blewett. He just got a little kick forward. Any way he could do it.
Oh,
big fly there from everybody. Roger Boxer, Andrew Wellaway.
His head taken off.
Well, there's a name I haven't remembered is Les Mundy.
Oh yeah, great player.
Aboriginal lad. Sauce Mullen. I've got to get hold of this one night and
yeah, I'll drop it up to you if you want.
Consume it better.
Mm. Oh, look, there's my name in it.
Yeah, there he is, Derek Rogers. So what era were you here?
89, 90.
Right.
I was here for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then they sent me up to Ceduna.
Right.
And then they sent me off to Murray Bridge after that.
Yeah.
And then I went overseas for 4 years after that. Lincoln South swept aside myths of invincibility and triggered a frenzy of final speculation. That sounds like me.
It does, doesn't it?
By humbling Mallee Park at the Peckers' home ground. I've always approached football as art, you see. And this sounds like me, after 22 weeks of sweating bodies, crunching tackles and aching muscles. Yeah, it was me. I remember writing it.
But that's good. That's what, we don't get that anymore. It's disappointing.
Well, Alf was terrific with encouraging that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's my name again.
Kick out by the fullback out towards Joe Berlin, but Grant Smiler came cleverly in front. And that's the end of the ball game. That's the end of the ball game. And Lincoln South Football Club are premiers in the A grade from 1991. And what a fantastic effort by South today. Playing in 3 premierships, winning 3 in the under-14s, under-17s and under-19s, and caps off a fantastic year.
Yeah. Fantastic history.
Yeah, well, KC, thanks very much.
Yeah,
you're a
no,
legend.
thank
It's been
you.
great. Stephen Horn, you're a legend.
Thanks,
Good job.
mate. Thank you.
The other bit of history here is Lindsay Heaven. Lindsay Heaven is the youngest ever player in South Australia to play league footy.
Is that right?
A lot of people don't know that.
How old was he?
Just under 16, 15 years something.
That is pretty good going, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
probably not even allowed anymore.
No, it's not. See, in AFL, you're not allowed to do it. See, the guy who holds the record in AFL is Tim Watson. He played VFL at 16.
Is that chap up there?
Yeah, well, Greg, of course, played here for a couple of years, 1 or 2 years.
Yes, I was coaching the under-17s when Greg first came down from Minerva, and he was playing under-14s for us, and I was coaching the under-17s, and he was going to come up and play. And I thought, well, he'd be a good lad to have in the under-17s. Well, he went from under-14s to A grade. So he didn't play senior Colts.
More's the pity. There's my name again.
Yeah.
Lincoln South threw a log on the blaze of premiership speculation by mauling Mallee Park by 73 points.
What year was that?
This is
1990.
1990. And look at that for a good leap. I'm amazed that Volley hasn't stuck a ball just there, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's what he used to do.
Yeah.
And there's another one. Reputation and egos were dented or built by Sunday's sensational Port Lincoln Lightning Carnival. There you go. He's waxing lyrical.
So what Rogers do you belong to?
My grandfather was an orphan, so it's a bit hard to track that family back.
Oh, right. So, because I know a few Rogers that were in Lincoln, that was all.
Yeah, and we're probably all part of the same crowd, but he was, like I say, he was orphaned. When his sister was born, his mother died, so he was only 2 or 3. And then at 12, he went off took himself off down the southeast, worked in a sawmill. Imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, when he joined the Navy, when the war started, he was 16. He said it was the first time he'd ever had his own bed. First time he'd ever had his own bunk, and 3 meals a day. He loved it.
Yeah. Well, there's the old Ollie.
Ah, there you go. Great.
20. South Star sacked.
Yeah.
Is that Giacomo, is that? Yeah.
Because that was the vice president or something that he decked, I think.
You'll be meeting him soon.
You're about to meet him. That's Ralph got us involved with the club, because when we first came to Lincoln, we bought Ralph's house, and he'd signed up my older brother, but they hadn't signed.
Is that Johnny?
Yeah, because I was playing. My situation was really weird. When we come from Blythe to here, I didn't come. I was left in Portland in Blythe for 6 months to finish the footy season off. So I was billeted out at Blythe, and my whole family was here. And when I came, they'd already signed John up. But when I got tangled up with Paul Johnson, a few guys, and I played cricket for Waybacks, and I didn't want to sign for South. And in the end, I did. And
you played cricket at Charlton too. So
when I came back, yeah. But when I first came to Lincoln as a kid, I played. It was weird. I played Colts for Waybacks cricket, and I played A-grade cricket at 14 with Brian Turvey for Tasmans.
Yeah.
It was weird in that era. And then I went to Adelaide, and then I come back and I obviously come back and played with South in the footy, because I didn't want to do anything about that. But I played cricket for Charlton, because my other brothers played for Charlton. That was because of Barry Speed. Barry Speed was president of our club here, but he played cricket for Charlton. So it was really weird. You had situations where you played footy for one club and cricket for a different club. But yeah, so it was a weird situation in that era.
And that still happens.
Still happens, yeah. Yeah.
He'll look for the leading player in Sharple or Fowler, none ensuing a nice kick by Pont and a good mark by Smallacombe in the front spot. Played well so far, Smallacombe. Plays on quickly. The handball to O'Gorman is not good, but O'Gorman gets away with it with the back turn. Looks for the centre of the ground in Kim Clark, and a good mark and a good kick. The handball is magnificent to Harry Miller. Harry Miller drives deep looking for Foster and finds that player about 20 metres out on the slightest of angles.
And of course you sponsored the club.
Yeah.
How long did you sponsor them for?
Our club here, yeah, I've sponsored them forever.
Still.
I've sponsored Lincoln South since 1980.
You would have been involved in the extension of the club, wouldn't you?
Yep.
You're being a builder, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had a fair bit to do with getting the grant money in conjunction with my brother Lee.
So this stuff here, this old part.
That's original.
But that would have been the club? Who built this?
I couldn't. You'd have to ask Ralph that.
Yeah, but from there onwards is you, isn't it?
Yep. And you can thank my younger brother a lot for that. He had a lot to do with all the grant applications, and we got a good grant to do the pool and all the whole thing.
What year was that?
Gee whiz, I'm going to get this wrong. It was after 83, I think.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, we'd
Mid-80s,
after. Yeah, it'd be mid-80s around there.
And what did the club have before that?
Oh, they just had from here straight through, and we used to have our bar right at the back there. Yeah, it was just basically just through this wall here. So this was all extended here. So it went from here straight through, and their bar down the bottom. And that's what it was.
You can see the change in the bricks, yeah.
Yeah. So this extension was to the left and also at the rear.
And that all happened at the
same job.
That all happened at the same time.
Yep.
And the pool as well.
Yep. All together. But yeah, no, I always try and keep sponsoring the club if I can help. I don't see enough football anymore because I play golf, but I would have saw 4 or 5.
Yeah, you were there a fair bit last year.
A fair bit last year, yeah. But I want to try and get back to that.
So you're at this stage, Kim Clark is the best of Ian Bryant at centre, but I'm sure...
What about the jumpers? How did you feel about the stripes and how do you feel about the...
Well, I had a lot to do with all that.
Did you? Tell me about it.
Well, I modelled that off of the Central District's Guernsey. I just, when I arrived on the scene and that, and at the end I thought we needed a bit of a change, and because I was working with HS Sarah and Sons at the time and they sponsored the Guernsey, so we just changed that. It didn't last all that long, but...
Oh, it lasted a decade.
Yeah, it was quite good.
Did you play some footy for Central District?
Yeah.
Yeah, as well.
I was at Port Adelaide for 11 years.
Yeah.
Then I spent 2 years at Centrals and then I came home.
What was it like playing at Centrals at that time?
Fantastic. 2 years.
Who was the coach?
Tony Cassidy and Gary Window.
Great man.
Great man.
Was there any other locals that were at Centrals then? Bob Edmonds or...
Nah, way before me. Kevin Arliff played at Centrals. Bob Edmonds, way before me.
And what, Chick Aliff? Did Chick
Aliff? Yep.
Tell me about Gary Window as a coach.
Very, very tough coach. Loved the person who had attitude in football.
I coached Centrals in 76, 77, and they asked me to put in, there was a different management group in there, I always remember that, and Tony Cassidy was a previous coach, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, I regarded him as a better coach than Tony Cassidy. Tony Cassidy just always wanted to pick the real spectacular players and that, whereas Gary was a little bit harder and got more grunt players.
Appreciated the value of ball getters, yeah.
Yeah, he was tough on his summer camps and things like that. But again, I was only there 2 years, but I sort of had 2 years of some really good players. And I was lucky enough, like 11 years at Port, so it's easy for me to talk about Port Adelaide because it's 11 years.
Large kick by Phillips. And there's the siren.